are ready to go.
Indeed, we are ready to go. Matt Skraby is sitting in Chris Ello's chair, which is really weird.
Trust
Adam
me.
Klug is sitting in Matt Skraby's chair, which is also not as weird, because usually Adam has sat in this seat before. Skraby has never sat in this seat, at least while on the show with me. So
yeah, when
that's
I fill in for Braden, I'm in the big chair, so I get to sit here every once in a while. But it is strange to change. Yeah. It's weird how strange it is to change chairs. Like, it shouldn't be this big of a deal, but for whatever reason, it's weird.
Who is this? I thought that was Adam Klug. Who is this dude with the hat on in the chair right here?
That is Adam Klug.
Oh, it is Adam Klug.
He's grown a beard now.
You got all this facial hair going, dude. You got a hat on. You looking like a B-boy. What you got going, man?
Yeah, it's Friday. It's Friday, right? City Connect. Let me ask you a question, Tony.
Ooh.
I'd love to know what your facial hair shaving schedule looks like. I'm normally a once per week guy. And the last time I shaved, my wife goes, "Man, now you're way too baby faced. I kind of like when you had a little something going." So I said, "Hey, I'll grow it a little bit since you mentioned it."
Whoa. What mama wants, mama gets. Is how that goes.
trying to stay out of the doghouse.
Yeah, no, I hear you, dog. I'm doing the same thing. It depends. So the luxury of working on radio is I can get away with a little bit longer length, right? And so I was in a little bit of a conundrum when we came back from Seattle. I had already shaved my head. It's kind of a whole process, right? And so, like, I had a decision. Like, it's about a week before you start noticing that there's a roof missing, before the beard starts to come in, right? And so I had a decision to make. I had to thug it out through those first 3 games of the Dodgers series because I was going to be on TV, and if I got it cut too early, I wouldn't have made it through the 3 games on TV without it, the roof showing, or the roof missing. So I decided to just, I wore that same hat here for 3 days when I could. Obviously, when I go down to field and got to get the scrum, I had to take it off. So I had to just kind of be out there with it. But I got through the 3 days, and today I got a haircut. So I feel pretty good, I must say.
Oh, both of us got a haircut today. So we were both thinking the same
thing. Who else got a haircut?
I got a haircut. My hair was super long. Yeah. See? It's all nice and proper and primed and whatever else you can say about haircuts.
Chad, I don't know. Do y'all notice? Because I don't really notice much.
Actually, the chat is the only one that says, like, happy haircut, Scraby. And I'm like, yeah, no one else, like.
Well, that's because they got to look at your face the whole time. So they definitely know what you got going.
I'm an angel. An angel face. They said I have the face of a cherub.
Oh, that's what they said, huh?
Yes.
Anyway, it is Friar Friday. Rodolfo Duran will join us today to talk a little bit about his opportunity he's been given here at the big league level and his thoughts on finally getting to the big leagues after 11 years in the minor leagues, just kind of grinding away. There's no other way you can describe playing in the minor leagues. Now, granted, it is a lot better circumstances now than it was. I get to say this now, right?
Back in my day.
My dad used to say this to me all the time. Now I get to say this about New Jersey. They got it a lot easier than what we had it back in the day. I mean, I didn't have to walk in the snow barefooted or anything like that.
Both ways.
Nonetheless, both ways. But nonetheless, it's a little bit easier now. But nonetheless, you spend 11 years in the minor leagues grinding, you appreciate a stay like this, no matter how long it is.
How much time did you spend in the minors, Tony?
I think it'd probably equate to about 2.5 seasons.
Equate to meaning off and on, you would come up and go back down. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, meaning like, so I got drafted in 2003. I spent a half a season in A-ball, 2 seasons in AA, half season in AAA before getting to the big. So it was about 3 seasons.
But it was linear. It was progressing upward through each level until you reached the
only time I ever went down was from the big leagues. Yeah, for sure.
And what was it like? Tell us about your minor league experience.
Oh my gosh. When you first sign out of college, it's like the greatest thing ever. You're not even, for me, I wasn't even thinking about the big leagues. It was just like, I'm getting to play baseball, get a little paycheck here. It ain't much, but I'm single at the time, so it ain't like I got kids or anything.
Yeah, you don't have your 4 kids yet.
No, so you just you make it work, right? And then I think after my first full season of AA, it started to get a little more serious. It's like first time you struggle, first time I ever struggled, and you're like, dang, what does this mean? And at this time, we didn't have social media, but we had blogs, and so you could get on there and see what like the Brewer fan blog is saying about you.
Oh, don't go there. That's a terrible place.
Well, yeah, this is why I seem so wise now, because at some point I was looking at this kind of things, right? And so at that point it got serious, but then the next year I got better, and then when I got my first year in AAA, I kind of just took off from there. And so at that point it's just like you get to the big leagues, and then you're learning like how difficult that level is, and why everybody is so good.
Obviously, I didn't think any of us expected the conversation to start here, but we were talking about Duran's story, which is so amazing, and he'll join the show coming up in less than an hour. But I pulled up, we've never had this conversation, Tony. I just pulled up your Wikipedia. So you were a 33rd round pick out of high school, which obviously you declined, went to college at San Diego State. You talked about improving, although that was in the minors, but then you ended up being a 2nd round pick. So that ends up having like a massive impact on signing bonus and contract status and all that while you're young and in the minors and single compared to all the other minor leaguers.
It did.
Not trying to get into your money or your personal business.
No, but it was. And for me, obviously, I never really had to want for anything. So it wasn't like money was like a high priority for me. But I did feel a way about being the 1,000th pick in the draft, though. I mean, that's what the 33rd round was. I was the 1,000th pick.
So 999 guys, they perceived better than you.
They perceived better than me. And part of that was because I think they kind of knew, all teams kind of knew I wasn't out of high school. I wasn't even looking to try to sign. My dad was involved in a lot of those conversations. And I'll never forget, the Brave Scout came in there. And, I don't know if he didn't, I don't know what he was thinking, but he was trying to talk me into like signing, and, they offering me, 4th round money. And it was just like, my dad was like, my son needs to go to school. He's not ready. And I told him that. I told my dad I wasn't ready to go off on my own. Like, I think about it now, and I look at some of the high schoolers that, I played with, that, man, it's a big jump, man. If you ain't ever been by yourself, like off on your own, like it's a huge jump to go from high school where your mom and dad are involved, or maybe it's just one parent, to it being all on you. Like, and you have the responsibility. I wasn't mature enough to be on my own at 18, at 17, which would have been at that point.
Yeah. It impresses me, like when guys come over here from, the Dominican Republic or other parts of the world, and they come over here and they're young and they're trying to find a way to live an American life. It's just that seems so difficult to me.
On top of trying to play
a
baseball,
professional game where you could be going home any minute.
At least I could go to the store, get what I wanted. I might suck that day, but I didn't also have to have someone go to the store with me, get the food for me, be able. It is just so much that goes into guys who come over here from other countries that I don't know that many people can really understand it unless you've had like a teammate or someone that's kind of been through that before. And I'm sure Rodolfo can kind of delve into that, being that he was one of those guys.
All right, well. Someone on the chat said that we don't have any sound, so I was looking at Adam, but we just got some not news, I guess, about Jackson Merrill, but Kevin Acee tweeted it out that his ribs are still sore, and they don't think he's going to go on the IL, though. So kind of what Craig Stammen said the other day, but I guess
what did Craig say the other day?
The same thing, like he's sore. I'm sorry, he said it this morning with Ben Woods, which we will get to. Craig Stammen on Ben Woods a little bit later in the show, but he said this morning his ribs are sore. They don't think that he needs to go on the IL. So I guess no Jace Bowen sightings here at Petco Park today, I don't think. But I mean, how is the lineup going to look tonight when Jackson's out of it? Because you got to find someone to play center field. Well, let's assume that he's out. Let's assume that he's out of the lineup.
Why would we assume that?
Because they're setting it up, Tony, for them to have him out of the lineup for tonight. They're setting him up for that.
Wrong. I hope.
Craig Stammen said this morning he expects him to return in the next few days.
Okay.
Could be today,
All
though.
So you could just say that, Skraby, if that's what he said.
Okay. Well, anyway, I want to know what the lineup looks like tonight because Jackson Merrill not going to be in it. Who's playing center field for him? Bryce Johnson?
Who do you think he's going to play today? Yes.
Okay.
Has anybody else played center field yet?
Ramon Laureano did for a game.
I guess they could try to throw. I don't know if you want to throw Ramon out there, though. I'm just saying.
The other thing is they're facing a lefty tonight. Gavin Sheets doesn't face lefties, but he's probably going to have to be in the lineup if Jackson's out. There's so many. There's a can of worms that's open now that Jackson's out of the lineup.
Bryce Johnson is a switch hitter, so he can hit right-handed.
I'm not worried about
that. Where are you? I mean, Gavin may play, he may not. I'm just saying, like, they got options, bro. I mean, Ty France is right-handed. Nick Castellanos is right-handed. You know, they got some options there, player. Just throwing it out there.
So you're saying that they should not assume that Jackson is out until we see the lineup?
That's how I like to do things. You know, I know you like to get on out there a little bit early. I just would like to wait and see. If he's in there, he's in there. If he's not, then I would expect Bryce to be in there.
Well, everybody's enjoying you, Tony, because Nate says, relax, Scraby. Lambo Carl says, LOL, school Scraby, Tony. And then someone, Dee said, check the lineup twice before posting. I think we need to talk to Adam about this. I do. I think we need to talk to Adam about this.
Was that a shot at Adam right there?
I went last week to announce the lineup on the 97.3 The Fan Twitter, and Miguel Andujar was there twice, and Freddie Fermin was like playing third base or something like that.
No, stop it.
I think that has happened before. I definitely have seen that before.
I'm not faulting you for it, Adam, because you do a
kind of sounds like you are.
A ton,
it
but
kind of does. Kind of like you threw him under the bus there, buddy.
I went on the air with two Miguel Andujars. That's my fault. That's my fault.
Did you wait? Time out.
No, I go Miguel Andujar DHing, Ty France playing first base, and Miguel Andujar is here twice.
So you did say it out loud.
I did.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, Adam has no idea, Tony. Adam has
All right,
no idea.
let's do this. Let's get the break. Let's hear from Craig Stammen when he was on Ben and Woods this morning. We get his take on all of that and some when we return. More Gwynn and Chris. 2:18 on the clock. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, not here. Chris Ello's not
What
here.
do you mean? I'm here. I'm right here, Tony.
That's Matt Skraby, Adam Klug on the ones and twos. Ello is he what's his birthday?
He's
Something
on hiatus.
Celebrating today.
He's on hiatus.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, that's right. He is.
No,
on
you know what?
hiatus.
Now that they're both gone out of town, I could tell you what he was worried about the most, because he had to take a flight this morning, and so he was like, "Lori doesn't understand you could book flights at like 9 a.m. So they have to get up at like 3 a.m. every single time they go." And he was just like, "Oh no, I'm gonna have to get up at 4. I'm gonna have to sit on the plane. I'm not gonna sleep." I'm sure you can imagine this, Tony.
Yes, I can hear him complaining as we speak about it. All right. Looks like we got ourselves a lineup here. It's
Yes,
great
we
to
do.
see how right you were, buddy.
All right, there it is. You gonna go? Or you want me to go?
You got it. You got it, player.
All right, batting first for the San Diego Padres, Fernando Tatis Jr. playing second base. DHing is Miguel Andujar, batting second. Sheets at first base, batting third. Manny Machado playing third, cleaning up. Bogarts in the fifth spot. Shortstop, Laureano left field sixth. Castellanos right field seventh. Bryce Johnson center field eighth. And Duran catching for Bueller. So Jackson not in the lineup. We did get Sheets. And we'll see where we'll go from there. We'll go from there.
We will hear from the skipper some point today. See what he has to say about the rib cage of.
You know what? We could go with that right now if you want to, Tony.
Oh, that's right. I was talking about the scrum because that'll be fresher at that point.
Yeah, but he was on with.
Let's hear from him. He was on our guy Ben and Wood show. Let's hear from him.
Yeah, the good thing is all the tests came back negative, so no, rib fracture or anything like that going on. He's just still day to day, pretty sore, when it happened, and checked on him yesterday, still pretty sore. So we'll see. It was as good a news as we could have got, based on the medical report. So, he should be back in there, here this week at some point.
Before we react to that, Tony, Padres manager Craig Stammen joined Ben Woods for the manager report presented by SECCU. It's not big bank banking. It's better. I got to assume that sore ribs is a very difficult thing for a baseball player to have when you swing, when you run, when you do anything, really.
It's the same reason why obliques and all those things usually, pull you out. At least, with being the ribs, once it's not sore anymore, you're good. With an oblique, it's because it's deep. You could feel good, but a couple swings, all of a sudden, you're back to where you were. So, I
always make fun of athletes for obliques because it's like an injury you can't really see. And then I kind of strained my oblique one day, and I was like, oh wow, this is why it hurts. Yes, moving hurts.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think let's all keep our fingers crossed that it's nothing crazy. It sounds like he's day to day at this point anyway. So I don't know that it's going to be that long. You can see he tried to swing through it, but the more he kept doing, kind of showing that it was bothering, I was like, they ain't gonna let you stay in this game, bro. If you trying to stay in this, you better stop. In my mind, I didn't say that out loud. In my mind, I was thinking, you better stop doing all that if you want to stay in this game because they're coming to get you.
Well, that's what
they got him.
That's what Craig said after the game. He said he checked in with them after the inning. He said Jackson's never going to take himself out. So I ultimately have to make that decision. So I said, hey, I'm going to trust you. You can go out there for a few more innings. But if I see anything that I don't like, you're coming out of this game. And he came out of the game. So let's hope.
Yeah, he could. And that probably is an indicator of how much discomfort he was in because I'm sure – even though I was thinking that, I'm sure Jackson was thinking the same thing. Like, man, if I'm trying to stay in this game, I gotta stop.
I gotta start standing up straight. Gotta stop wincing every time I swing.
Right.
Yeah,
he was. Ben Woods. Of course, the hard hitting questions that our guys will ask. They went right after it. They asked him if he was satisfied with the offensive process.
Yeah, I would say to a degree. Obviously, results are tied to the process a little bit. I feel like our process has been really good. At times, we're just not getting the results that we wanted to. I think the series in Seattle was very good.
Yeah.
where it felt like some of the process that it was coming to fruition a little bit. And then obviously we're facing an elite pitching staff with the Dodgers the last 3 games. And, it tests some of that. Tests whether you really believe in what you're doing. And because sometimes pitchers are just going to get you.
Yep.
And, that's part of the game. But, that's the beauty of also playing the Dodgers too, is it's a good test. And, same way that we test them, they're testing us, and it gives us a clear point of evaluation and, where we need to get better and how we can improve to, hopefully be a championship caliber ball club.
I swear I'm not talking to him and then coming to y'all and talking to y'all. I swear he just happened to say the same thing I've been saying the last couple of days, which as it pertains to the Dodgers and as it pertains to their offensive process. I had to stop myself from chuckling when
okay, can we play the beginning again, please? This tells me everything I need to know.
Yeah, I would say to a degree.
I don't know.
You should cut that. You should clip that piece.
Yeah, I would say to a degree.
I don't know what that means, but it definitely tells me something.
Is it The Office that my man is like?
Yeah. Oh, no, it is The Office. Office Space.
Yeah,
Office
I would
Space.
say to a degree.
He's like, yeah, I'm gonna need those TPS reports by the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of when it came on. But I would say that what he was trying to relay there was that he would like to see it more consistent, because he went straight to probably the most impressive series that we've had this year was the one against Seattle, against that pitching staff.
Hey Tony, how do you feel about picking up some groceries on the way home after the Padres game tonight?
Yeah.
That was from Tony's voicemail to his wife. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
No, that's not what. That wouldn't be the answer if it was the wife on the other
He'd be
line.
like, "Yes, I'll be there shortly."
And then after I hung up, he'd be like,
then you go, "Yeah, I don't want to do this."
I thought that. The other thing he kind of hit on was the kind of measuring yourself, you kind of evaluating yourself as, you facing teams like that. They did it, the circumstances make it look, or way their schedule was and who they face make it look a lot worse, right? Because you come off that great series against Seattle. And by the way, in game 1, you didn't really do a ton. You hit the homer that kind of put that one away. And then you ran right into another really good pitching staff. And I mean, are you going to go 6 for 6 in those? I think they went what, 4-2 in that span against elite pitching.
Yeah.
They beat the guy that they were, who pitched first game for them?
For the Dodgers?
Yeah.
Why am I forgetting this too? Man, this is a bad day for my brain. Let me just tell you.
I forgot, so I don't know.
Adam, do you remember?
Oh, it was Sheehan was the second game, right? Or was he the first game?
This is
Sheehan. It was Yamamoto and Otani.
That's it.
Oh yeah, so
that's it.
Yeah, so they got Yamamoto. They actually hit Sheehan, the dude that you're supposed to hit. They hit. They just didn't make all the plays they were supposed to. So
they got to Shohei enough that they could have scored off of him.
It's hard to say you got to him when he gave up nothing.
I get it, but at least you got bases loaded at some point.
It's really tough to sell that. Like, oh, they got to him.
They did, though.
What was his line? 5 innings, no runs. Like, it's kind of tough to sell.
I guess. Don't you have to feel good about making Shohei work?
They were definitely in position to do some things, and they didn't come up with the big hit, which is unlike them. They usually have been coming up with the big hit, even if it's 1 of 5 or whatever it might be. They've been doing that a lot. They didn't do it in that start against Shohei, though.
One of my friends is a Dodger fan, and they always text me after Padres and Dodgers games. But this time they said, hey, I'm not going to gloat over this series win because your team was just an error away from taking that series possibly. And if we're going to do a measuring stick type of thing, I don't know that this series told us that the Padres are much worse than the Dodgers.
I think a lot of Padre fans would like some Dodger fans in their life, like apparently you have, that aren't gloating in their face and are looking at this through less rosy lenses, I guess.
They're a good baseball fan.
I think that's accurate. I don't think the Dodgers were that much better than the Padres in that last series. I think when it got down to winning time, you could tell the team that have that do what they have to do in order to get that. At this point, they've been there, done that. That was the only thing that I thought separated the two in terms of that. But Padres are right there. I think that.
Hey, Craig, I know you're managing a game tonight, and you won't get home till 10:30, 11 o'clock. Got another one tomorrow night. But I'm in the mood. Could you go and pick up some bagels tomorrow morning for us and the kids?
Yeah,
I'm going to be using this a lot. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. Tony, before we get into the countdown on the other side, I want to ask you about this Dennis Lin article about the Padres possibly looking into Josh Hader and Aroldis Chapman. So we could do that on the other side before the countdown.
You got checked there. Adam's in the room.
He did. He gave me the. You know what? I complain to Chris all the time. Why can't you get out on time? And look at me. Look at me.
You I guess it's the chair.
Ain't as easy
it
as
must
it
be
looks.
the chair.
I guess.
Must be the chair.
I guess Skraby's not right. Everybody.
All right, let's get to the break. On the other side, we got a countdown, and we'll talk a little bit about this Dennis Lin article and get the take on maybe some more bullpen help, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. More Gwynn Chris on the other side. 2:35 on the clock. Tony Gwynn Jr., Matt Skraby, Adam Klug on the ones and twos today. Chris Ello idle. Padres, I almost said Oakland. Padres, Sacramento.
I don't think they want you saying Sacramento either, right?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Padres,
ATH.
Too close to ATL. Too close to ATL.
Well, hey, listen, not my fault. I can't do all these names. You could just go Sacramento and make it easier.
I'm just gonna call
Otherwise, you're going to be ATH for the rest of this year.
I'm just going to call him SAC.
Right?
SAC. SAC.
All right, fine. Either way. San versus SAC, however you want to do it. It's happening 3-game series. This is a young, up-and-coming A's team right now. I still think they're atop the division in the American League West. Yes, they are. Game and a half up still. So, another first-place team coming in here.
And Nick Kurtz is on like a 46-game on-base streak.
I did a lot of looking at Nick Kurtz today.
Yeah?
Getting myself ready for some television. I looked a lot at their team, period, but
what were your
Kurt's a pretty good player.
findings? Oh, he's a pretty good
He
player.
can hit the ball. He can hit the ball pretty far.
Yes, he can.
Not an orthodox swing I would teach, but nonetheless, very productive. Very productive. We do have a countdown, but there was something we were supposed to talk about before that.
Good. We were going to talk
Dennis
about
Lynn.
Dennis Lynn. So he wrote an article the other day about the Padres possibly being in the market for more relief pitchers. And here's what he said in the paragraph. Padres president of baseball operations, AJ Preller, has a track record of doubling down on the bullpen. Shortly before the 2022 trade deadline, he acquired Josh Hader. 2 years later, he landed Jason Adam and Tanner Scott within a span of 3 days. Last July, Preller made one of the most stunning deals of the summer, surrendering top shortstop prospect Leo DeVries as part of the return for Miller. He goes on to say that AJ Preller is looking at Aroldis Chapman or Josh Hader to bring in for relief help.
Okay, so a couple things. I think it's a little bit exaggerated, and I love Dennis, but I think it's a bit exaggerated. When the year they got Hader, do you guys remember what the closing situation was?
It was it Suarez?
Suarez was not the closer quite yet. Remember, because he started the year, he came that first year, he started the year as a closer, and then he came out that first game in Arizona, and it went haywire. And then I believe we went out and acquired the lefty twin.
Tyler Rogers.
Taylor Rogers. Taylor Rogers, right?
Yes.
It was that year that they flipped and got Hader, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So they closed, so it's not doubling down on your bullpen at that point. You were making an acquisition in order to get help for your bullpen. Now, you can make the argument that it was doubled down the year they got Scott and they got Adam, right? Because the bullpen was pretty strong, although being a radio host, I do remember quite a bit of like hand-wringing with the closing situation at that time. They weren't 100% feeling good. And then Hader came in, and remember, he struggled, or that Hader. Tanner came in, and it was all she wrote. It was like the perfect pieces at that point.
Yeah.
Last year, pretty good bullpen. You doubled down, bringing in Mason. And that kind of fit because of the situation. You knew Suarez was about to be out, most likely. You can fill that spot with Mason, who just kind of slides right on in there. But for the time being, you had an abundance of relievers. So I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think anybody should be surprised that that is the rumor out there, because what we know about postseason baseball is you got a good bullpen. You can get creative in how you use your starters and leverage those arms. And so I wouldn't be surprised. Quite frankly, you know what? It makes sense also from the standpoint is there's more relievers out there than there are starters out there. You know, that can be had for probably less in a lot of circumstances than it's going to take you to get a starter.
Totally.
I would don't sleep on the Sandy Alcantara's name either, by the way. That's another one that you just got to keep in your back pocket. Because you know when the media says AJ is looking one way, he's always looking that way and about two other ways too. Yeah.
You can never really predict which way he is going, but he is going a different way. Now, is it unfair of me to think that Josh Hader's stay here is enough for me not to want him back on the team? Not that I dislike him.
It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous on all counts. And watch everybody change their tune if it happens.
Yeah, I mean, we have no other choice, but
you'll get on board real quick.
I don't know.
What? Let me ask you a question. What was it that Hader did that made you not like him?
Let me start over. It's
let
not
me rephrase the question.
Like him as
not
as
directed
a player.
At you.
Okay.
That made you frustrated with him as a player.
The 4-out save that he would not be a part of.
You mean like the 4 or 5 times it happened in the 2 years he was here that made you enough? Forget all the other saves he got. That was it right there. Huh?
I know you were going to win this.
To make you never want him to come back ever again.
I know you were going to win this argument. You're going to win, but I think there are a lot of fans that, like, when we saw Josh Hader's name in this, we're like, oh, Josh Hader. Why would you go after Josh Hader? Yes, Adam?
In a world where they actually do go out and acquire Josh Hader or Aroldis Chapman, it's a different situation than when they brought in Hader the first time, right? Because now Mason Miller is here, and he's like the established top dog. Like, no one's taking his job. So the expectations are different. Whoever comes in, now they're obviously Jason Adam is here, and so there's some kind of pecking order stuff going on there. But you're not bringing in Hader or Chapman to be the lights out, no doubt about it, ninth inning guy. He could be the kind of the fireman guy that Mason Miller was in the playoffs last year.
Let me tell you. I first of all, it would be dope as hell to have Miller and Chapman in the same bullpen.
That would be crazy.
That'd be nuts.
A righty-lefty flamethrower.
But out of all of the closers, Chapman's probably the only one that could make it interesting if Mason somehow lost his command or something.
Or
like
if there's 2 big-time lefties coming up in the 9th inning, maybe they bring in Mason in the 8th and Chapman in the 9th, right?
I'm just saying from a standpoint of, you were talking about pecking order, things of that nature. I don't think anybody can challenge Mason, honestly, in the league, maybe with the exception of Chapman.
I'll tell you why this probably won't happen to begin with, because Josh Hader is in the 3rd year of his 5-year, $95 million deal, which means the Padres would have to take that on. He also has a full no-trade clause.
Not necessarily. The Astros could pay some of it to move off the rest of the contract.
That's a lot of money.
If the Astros are moving, they're trying to get up off of that.
Now, Chapman is making $13 million this year. He has a $13 million mutual option for next year and a $300,000 buyout. That's more doable for me.
That's nothing, because once one side declines the option, it's no longer mutual, and it's a done deal.
Tony, I think the interesting dynamic, though, about the report about the Padres chasing more bullpen help is obviously the fact that the offense has struggled, and we've had some injuries in the starting lineup. Do you dedicate whatever resources you have to strengthen a strength in the bullpen versus saying we have these limited resources in terms of trades? Do we go after another bat or a starting pitcher?
Let me ask you this. What is the problem with the offense?
They can't score.
They haven't hit enough, right?
Specifically, what is the problem? Yes, they haven't hit enough. Who hasn't hit enough?
Well, that's the thing. If you do go out and acquire a bat, there's really not necessarily a place for them, I would say, because the star players aren't playing up to their capabilities, and the kind of the bats you might think you'd want to upgrade or replace coming into the season, those guys are performing.
Exactly. And so that's what I'm saying. There really isn't a place for a bat. Don't get me wrong. If there is a bat out there that AJ can figure out a way, I'm sure he will explore it. But just looking at the roster as it is right now, your issue isn't the ancillary pieces. It aren't the pieces that kind of fit around the outside of it, right? That keep the inner part going, right? It's the main pieces that are struggling right now. And so if it was the opposite way, like Toddy and Jackson and Manny were doing their thing, and it was the other pieces that were struggling, okay, now you got some spots you can, but that's just, for everything we know, that's just not the case. So I think we better get to this countdown, because it's already 2:45 there, player.
It's now time for Gwynn and Chris to rank their top 5 of the day.
Gonna grip and rip as usual.
But this isn't just a regular top 5 list.
I love it. It sounds sadistic, but I love it.
This is the countdown. And it starts right now on 97.3 The Fan.
Yes, indeed. It's Friday. It's Friar Friday. It also means it's countdown day. And we're going to move away from sports. Chris is not here, who seemingly always wants to do sports.
He does.
We're going to jump away from sports and do a little nostalgia here for our countdown. Top 5 things we miss from the 90s.
Yes.
I thought this was very fitting since there's multiple 90s babies in this bad boy right now, or 80s babies, I should say.
Yeah.
Into 90s babies for most part. All right.
You go first. I'll go first. Okay.
Yeah.
This is a random one, but I miss being able to call collect free and tell my mom to come get me from football practice and then hang up real quick. Like you call 1-800 collect.
We had a baby, it's a boy.
We had a baby, it's a boy. And then you hang up. And so every time I would tell my mom, come get me. Hang up. She come get me. I like the collect calls.
Love that. Number 5 for me is mall culture. Back in the 90s, when we wanted to hang out, we used to go to the mall.
Mm-hmm.
And we post up at the mall for hours, doing nothing but hanging out, loitering in some cases.
Loitering.
Right? Like, not buying anything. We might have spent $10 to, get some magnet earrings so you could pretend like your ear was pierced.
I did
for
that.
a little bit. Definitely did that. Yeah, that was the thing. Like, I don't know what these kids do now to hang out, but that's what we used to do. We used to go to the mall.
Yeah.
Be at the mall for 4 hours, 5 hours, just kicking it.
You could do whatever you wanted at the mall. That was great. That's a good one, Tony. I missed the mall as well. Now it's just a ghost town. Adam's not participating, so
I ended up making a list.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Let's hear it.
We got a couple 90s
let's
babies.
hear
I
it.
figured he wanted me to jump in.
Let's hear it.
Number 5, no cell phones. Not tethered to my cell phone at all times. Carrying around no matter where I go. That's one thing I miss about the 90s.
It is true because I text Adam sometimes and it's like, it's been 2 minutes. Where are you, Adam? You're supposed to respond to me. You're always on your cell phone. Just kidding.
Number 4.
Why Tony's shaking his head. My number 4.
You haven't. Oh, yeah, you went first. Go ahead.
My number 4 is Nickelodeon, the TV channel. Double Dare, Nick Arcade, Are You Afraid of the Dark, Doug, all of that stuff I absolutely love. So Nickelodeon was like a one-stop shop for kids back in the 90s. Now, it's a little bit different, but you could not turn off Nickelodeon in our house.
Number 4 on my list, it changed for the necessary reasons. I understand that, but man, I used to remember the time where you could walk your family right up to the gate at the airport. You could take your snacks, you could take your drinks. You didn't have to worry about none of that.
I could bring whatever bag I wanted,
whatever
Not
bag
taking shoes
you
off
wanted.
and belts off.
Man, they didn't have nothing, right? It was great. You could just show up. Get you as long as you were there on time, right?
Yep.
You get your bag on, you walk right to the gate. Mom and dad can be like, "All right, see you later, bye,"
and then high five when they close the door.
Yeah, high five you. They can walk you right up to the door.
That is
Not
a good
anymore.
one. We used to go for my
No
grandparents. We would wait for them to get off the plane. It was so awesome seeing them get off the
That was
plane.
the best part. Like, as soon as you got off the plane, you'd see families always like having like one of those moments where they're like hugging because they haven't seen each other in a long time. Now you got to wait till you go down the stairs.
And everybody's angry and
everybody's all irritated at this point.
Adam.
Number 4, going to the movie theaters.
Mm.
I don't do it anymore. I can't tell you the last time I went to a movie theater to watch a movie. I got Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, HBO. I got it all. Why do I need to go to a movie theater?
You need to carve out some time to go to a movie theater. Have you ever been to a Cinépolis?
No, I have not.
You need to go.
Oh,
you
you gotta go.
You gotta go. It's a whole new. You might fall asleep during the movie because it's so comfortable.
I got a wife and 3 kids. And
Take them all.
job.
Take them all.
Just you and Mama go one day.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
That's how you got to enjoy a movie.
No idea what this alone time is that you speak of.
Number 3.
Someone said AMC A-list, baby. Dan Diegan said Soup Plantation. That's a pretty good one, but that's an honorable mention. My number 3 was like appointment TV. Like you had to be in front of the TV at a certain time or else you missed it.
TGIF, real TGIF.
Yeah, TGIF, Seinfeld, Home Improvement was one for me. I love that show. You had to be there or else you did not see it. Now I watch things like 3 years later, and it's
Did you ever pop in a tape into a VCR and literally tape something on a VCR on a tape?
Of course.
Watch it later. Such a hassle.
I told you guys my dad's trick he used to do at the hotels. You had the pay channel where you had to like pay for the movies. He set up his little video 8 tape. We had all the movies, man. Another 48 Hours. I mean, every time. That's how I know. What is that? Total Recall. That was I love that movie because of that.
What is your number 3?
Is it me?
Yeah.
Dang, what was my number 3? Oh, kind of goes to appointment TV, but nothing better than after a long week waking up on Saturday morning and getting some cartoons.
Yeah.
You had about 2 or 3 channels that you could go through and have a nice run of about 3 hours of just legit cartoons
X-Men,
all day long.
Every Saturday morning, X-Men.
See, I was never allowed.
Man.
I couldn't watch the cartoons because I played football, and so we always had to leave, and so I never saw cartoons growing up.
Cartoons. I was a jock. I was a football.
That's not what I was saying.
I was in the gym. I was in the weight room.
I was pumping iron when everybody else was watching cartoons.
All right, I gotta throw back on mine here. Number 3, AOL Instant Messenger.
Oh, AIM,
What
man.
was good about AOL Instant Messenger?
love AOL Instant
Remember the
Messenger.
dial-up?
I'm more thinking of the instant messenger service where, like, that's where I first started talking to my friends, like, text-wise, was through the AIM service. That's a good one, Adam. The AOL, though, that is a good one. All right, let's go.
Number 2.
My number 2 is going to the movie store and being able to walk around and look at all the movies. Be really disappointed when you pull one back and there's nothing behind it and you think that it's an actual movie, but it's just a prop.
None of the new releases were ever in there. They were never in there.
Oh, I learned you had to go ask the guy, hey, you got any things in the return bin? And he was always like, oh, now I got to go through the return bin.
Never wanted to do it.
Hey, Mom, Twister's coming out this Friday. We got to make sure we get it.
We got to go. I love doing that and renting video games as well. So
yes.
This is 2?
Yeah.
Yes.
Number 2. So when in the 90s, when we weren't going to the mall, we had a little bit of a change, right? This is usually for the boys. You meet up at the arcade.
Oh, yeah.
Meet up at the arcade. And whether it was Mortal Kombat at the time, that was my game. But you be at the
Mortal Kombat 2.
Much like the mall. Not much like the mall, because once you ran out of money at the arcade, it was really time to go. But that was another kicking spot. It was the arcade. Meet you at the arcade. I remember they had one in Carmel Mountain. It was like dime games. Like you just Nickel City is what it was called.
Nickel City is a great name.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Number 2 for me is the music. Old school music. I was in the Nirvana, Green Day, Offspring, all those bands.
Nice.
That was what the 90s was all about for me.
All right.
Number 1.
My number 1 is when your mom told you, just come home before the street lights turn on. Just come home before the street lights turn on. I don't care what you do all day. Just come home before it gets dark. That's what I miss about the 90s and being a kid.
Me and Skraby have the same number 1. I'll say this. When I was here in San Diego, I wasn't allowed to live by those rules. But when my parents were out of town and I had to go stay with my grandma in Long Beach, I got to be under those. Be back when the lights come on outside. Don't let me catch you out. And man, we used to ride bikes. I probably was the best bike rider ever. We rode bikes all over the city. I don't ever see any kids. I remember one time we rode bikes from. If anybody knows Powell, it's kind of spread out. We rode from like Pomerado Road all the way around that bad boy.
And you actually had to do the work. None of these e-bike things.
No e-bikes. We was really out there pushing it.
No out of shape kids on those bikes.
Nah, not at all.
Adam.
My number 1 is it's kind of a combination. It's old school video games. It's Nintendo. It's Sega Genesis, but it's also the arcades. Like Tony said, man, go in there, put your quarter up on the things. I got next.
I got next.
That's right. You did.
You did.
Put your quarter up there.
And for some reason, we followed the rules.
I don't know. It's crazy, right?
Like,
yeah, man. 90s,
oh no, that guy put his quarter down.
I feel bad for y'all that didn't get a chance to grow up in the 90s. Y'all ain't really had a chance to live.
Someone said, remember when they got the TV guide arrived in the mail? It was very exciting for them.
TV guide. I had picked up on like the TV. My dad was a channel surfer, so we didn't need no guide. He was He was the actual
was the
TV
guy.
Chris Ello thrived in that time period.
I know we're about to go, but I loved watching that TV guy go up and wait for my channel so I would see what's on. Anyway, that's it for the countdown. When we get back, Rodolfo Duran, Padres catcher, will join us here on Gwynn and Chris 97.3 The Fan. Hey, it's Skraby. Back here in the Bill Howe Studios, 97.3 The Fan. We're about to talk to Padres catcher Rodolfo Duran, and we also have some tickets to give away later in the show. Unfortunately for all of you, Chris is not here. He cannot come up with a crazy question for everybody out there, so we're going to play for those a little bit later. You're going to have a chance to win 2 tickets to Padres versus Phillies at Petco Park on May 26th. Celebrate America's upcoming 250th birthday with a Padres-themed patriotic Aloha shirt for the first 40,000 fans. Get tickets now at padres.com/tickets. All right, we caught up with him. He's making his Friar Friday debut. He just hit a home run for his first hit in his major league career. Here is our talk with Rodolfo Duran.
Well, Friday is here, and you know what that means. It's Friar Friday. Tony Gwynn Jr., Matt Skraby, and Rodolfo Duran joins us, Padre catcher. And Rodolfo, welcome to the show. How are you, my friend?
Thank you, guys. I feel great. It's great to be here.
Rodolfo, I have to ask, man, 11 minor league seasons before, getting to the big leagues. What was the phone call like? I know you had been up earlier, but you didn't have a chance to actually get on the field. What was it like for you to finally be able to get up here? And then on top of that, have your first hit be a home run against the Mariners. Just talk about that experience a little bit.
Oh my! This was. I remember when I was a kid, I always dream about this moment, and have my first homer. I said my first big league hit, and round the bases feels like I was in a dream, and I cannot describe how was it. It's another feeling.
Talking to Rodolfo Duran here on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big bank banking, it's better. And I have to bring it up, because you had your first major league hit be a home run. You also got something that many guys in Major League Baseball have had happen to them. Julio Rodriguez robbed a home run, your home run. So what was that like?
Feels different. Like that was gonna be my second homer. That was gonna be awesome, but man, he's a good outfielder. He regs over there. So I wasn't at the moment. I was like, oh my, what was that? But it happened. It happens.
It definitely happens at the big league level, especially with an outfielder like Julio Rodriguez. Rodolfo Duran joins us, and Rodolfo, you've been able to come in and kind of fill a void, right? Camposano goes down. You and Fermina have kind of been alternating a little bit. Just talk about having to adapt and kind of just jump right in. You didn't have really much of an opportunity to kind of ease into it, and you kind of hit the ground running. Just talk a little bit about that.
I think the biggest key is communicating how with the pitcher, how they want to work, what is their go-to, and after every inning have that conversation on how he want to work every hitter. I think that's one of the key for success.
Talking to Rodolfo Duran here on Friar Friday, 97.3 The Fan. And branching off that a little bit, I was reading about Michael King the other day saying that you were an awesome catcher for him and he loved throwing to you. So as a catcher coming into the middle of a season, how was it to quickly build that trust and get into sync with the pitching staff?
I remember I worked with him in spring training, and I have some feel on how he likes to work, and then have my debut with him in the mound. It was fun. Like I said before, the communication was everything. He always talking about how he started a batter and how he likes to finish it, and man, he got nasty stuff. So it makes my work easier.
Rodolfo Duran joins us here, Padre catcher on Friar Friday. And Rodolfo, you've had the unique experience to really have the ABS system from the very beginning, and it's evolved to where it is now. What are your thoughts on how it's being used at the big league level? It's clear that the guys who have had experience in the minor league are the ones that are typically, or they at least seem to be, a little bit more comfortable with it.
Yeah, you said it. Like I spent a couple of years in AAA since 23 that they put the ABS. So I just need to have a feeling. Sometimes if I'm expecting away and they miss inside, have a feel of how is the strike zone is, and trusting my eyes has been like the biggest key. I think been working these couple years with it, I'll help me right now.
Real quick follow up. For you, when you're back there, is the ball down or the ball up the hardest to kind of gauge where the zone is if you're going to challenge?
Yeah, those are the ones. Another thing that you need to know the hitter, like how tall is he, because the strike zone is
right.
Sometimes it's different when it's a short guy or if it's a tall guy, and have that on my mind, and on whatever pitch I call, be like, have a knowledge of how the strike zone is going to be.
Yeah.
Talking to Rodolfo Duran here, Padres catcher, Friday. And I have to go back because I love stories like yours. Tony mentioned it, 11 years in the minor leagues. I got to know what kept you going. What motivated you to keep going, knowing that your dream was still out there? Because I think people don't understand how much you had to sacrifice to get to this point. So how did you do it?
I think there's two things that I think have been the key through my career. One is my family, and the second one that I love this game. When I was a kid, I have dreams about this. Like, I want to be here, and I know it's tough. It's 11 years. Like, you have up and downs. Sometimes you think that, I don't know if I'm done, but have that strong mental is key right now. Like, to go through all of those years and finally have the opportunity. I thank God for this.
Rodolfo, you talked a little bit about kind of getting to know your pitchers and being able to communicate it. Take us through what it's like when, whether it's Michael King or Walker Buehler, might go into a rough spell where they're having a hard time commanding the pitch or finding the zone, and you go out to have a conversation. What is the thing that you're trying to accomplish when you get out there and you're trying to talk to one of the pitchers struggling a little bit?
I just want to have a breather, try him to refocus and bring him the confidence back, and go to his train right away so we can get out of whatever it is, if it's a jam or if it's a whatever. I try to get the confidence back and trust on my guy every time, every pitch, and I think that's the best thing.
We're talking to Rodolfo Duran here on Friday. Thank you so much for your time, Rodolfo. This is the last one for me, but Petco Park is known as one of the best parks, if not the best park in baseball. What has it been like for you?
Thank God I made my debut right here in Petco. This is amazing. This is another atmosphere.
Thank you so much to Rodolfo Duran for joining us on Friday. And I appreciate guys like Rodolfo Duran, someone who really, really, really fights to get to the major league level. And I'm happy that he got a home run. I hope that he gets a good amount of time at the major league level. I'm looking at his minor league career, and he's gone in 2015. He was with the Gulf Coast League. Then he went to the New York, Pennsylvania League. And then he went to Lakewood, which is another league. And then he went to Clearwater, which is the Florida League, the South Atlantic League. It just is incredible to me how some of these guys can continue to fight for their dream. And it's inspirational to me, honestly.
I think what's all the story is amazing and impressive, but as impressive is how he's kind of taken advantage of his opportunity when up here, right? He's played really well, right? Like he's had some pop in his bat. He's thrown out base stealers. He's had some good ABS challenges. He caught a gem from Michael King. Like he's really taken advantage of his opportunity here in the majors.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, and you heard Tony ask about it in that interview, was that he has probably the most experience on the catching staff with the ABS. Luis Campusano had some last year when he was at the minor league level, but Rodolfo Duran has been at the minor league level since it got put in place. I mean, I'm still Estrella, Somerset, Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, Omaha, Northwest Arkansas, El Paso. These are all the places that he played. And that's just, it is, again, inspirational for me. All right. This is Gwynn and Chris. I'm filling in for Chris Ello. He is going to be back on Tuesday. We do not have a show on Monday due to Memorial Day. Phillies are going to be in town that day, so we will have some live sports here on 97.3 The Fan. Still to come, we have the Big Five. We're going to do that at 4:40. Adam is putting together Scraby versus the Fans trivia, and I think it's going to have something to do with Star Wars, at least part of it, because it is Star Wars weekend. And if you didn't know that, the Padres are celebrating Star Wars weekend. I got to know, does Star Wars pay all of these teams to promote their brand across the league? Because it seems pretty crazy that all teams do this.
I wouldn't think that they pay for it. They're benefiting from the promotion.
No,
I'm
get
sure
that.
A lot of people are going back and watching the movies.
Of course. But like, why did Star Wars why is there not a Jurassic Park night?
Ooh, I love Jurassic Park.
Me too. We have little dinosaurs running around the stadium. That'd be kind of awesome.
I just had a great idea pop into my head. The fact that it's the Star Wars week and we were talking about topics to do for the countdown, and now you bring up Jurassic Park. We could have done a countdown on best trilogies of all time.
That might be a good idea for the future.
Countdown.
For sure. Best trilogies.
Granted, Star Wars isn't actually a trilogy, I guess, and Jurassic Park, they just keep pumping those things out.
Yeah, that's like they have like 8 now or something like that.
The last one was so bad. It was awful.
They are always like that. It's just a money grab. And I still will watch it, even though I know it's a money grab. All right.
Same.
This is Gwynn and Chris. I'm Matt Skraby. That's Adam Klug. When we get back, unfortunate news yesterday that Kyle Busch passed away at the age of 41. We've learned a little bit more, so I'll update you on that. But we'll do that on the other side. Here is your traffic. Back here in the Bill Howe Studios, 97.3 The Fan. I'm Matt Skraby. This is Gwynn and Chris. Tony Gwynn Jr. off and doing his thing down at Petco Park, getting ready for this game tonight between the Padres and the A's. I will not call them the Athletics, at least for today. We have a couple things to talk about here in this segment, but we got an answer to our question about Star Wars weekend and why all of the teams are doing Star Wars weekend. And Dexter called in, our resident Star Wars expert. And Dexter told us it was because of like what was it, Adam? Like a partnership with Disney kind of thing?
MLB has a partnership with Disney.
They have a partnership with Disney. So that's why I was going to say they would have to pay a lot if they were just to license Star Wars every single weekend. So it makes sense. I don't mind it. I still have the Juan Soto bobblehead of Obi-Wan Kenobi or whatever it was. I love it. I think it's great. I'm not a huge fan of the Star Wars movies, but it's still fun. So, and I know you have to have a theme ticket when you go to these things. Theme game ticket. I do know that. So make sure if you're going and you want like a giveaway, you have a theme game ticket. All right. Yesterday was very unexpected with this news, but NASCAR driver Kyle Busch ended up passing away at the age of 41. No death has been, or cause of death has been given yet, but his family has told everyone that he was hospitalized with a severe illness about 3 days before he was going to, race into this weekend race, the Coca-Cola 600, which is at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Now, the 911 call was actually released, and I always have a hard time listening to 911 calls because obviously these people are in the worst moments of their life. And so I didn't listen to this, but we do have some quotes from it. And so the family member, they were at the General Motors facility, and the family member said, quote, "I've got an individual that's shortness of breath, very hot, thinks he's going to pass out and is producing a little bit of blood. He's coughing up some blood," end quote. And then he was lying on the bathroom floor, and they told him to bring some first responders and so they took him to the hospital, and he passed away there. Now, the NASCAR world is stunned. This is not, this isn't something where Kyle Busch was sick before or something like that, and he had battled for years. This is completely out of the blue. And as a guy who's about to turn 41, it really hit me hard because I can't even imagine being 41, getting sick, finishing a race. He finished a race at Watkins Glen 11 days ago, tells them that he doesn't feel great, finishes the race, gets like a booster shot because he doesn't feel great, and then 11 days later, he's dead. And that is stunning.
And it makes you realize how precious life is, because in his post-race interview, he said, they said, "Why is this so special to you?" And he said, "Because you never know when it's going to be your last one."
Oh my God, that just honestly gave me chills.
It's unbelievable. And he was scheduled to race this weekend.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, this came out of nowhere.
It was. It did come out of nowhere, and that's what makes it so sad. So his family, he's unfortunately leaving a family behind. I think this is kind of cool, though. The Richard Childress Racing, which is what Busch raced for the last 4 seasons, said they're going to suspend the use of his number 8 car, and they're going to run the number 33 instead for this next race. But they're also going to be saving number 8 for Kyle Busch's son, Brexton, when he is able to begin NASCAR racing. And he is 11 years old, but he's already doing some great things in the racing world. So he's probably going to be a NASCAR driver at some point, and they're saving that number for his dad, or for his son. Ugh.
Why do these moments never get old, Kyle?
Because you never know when the last one is, so
that's chilling. That's chilling. And even though it wasn't, it was just he was sick. It's not something that I'm having an easy time thinking about right now. So rest in peace, Kyle Busch. Thoughts go out to your family and all of the NASCAR people out there, because some of these drivers were very close to him. They were good friends with him, and they are not having an easy time as well. All right. Not easy to move away from that, but we're going to move into a couple baseball news and notes. And if you were paying attention to anything with the Yankees, the Gerrit Cole their ace from the last couple of years, and he'd missed last year because of a Tommy John surgery. So he's built his way back up. He's going to be making his debut tonight for the Yankees. It will be the first time he started a game in 569 days. And the last time he started a game, do you know when the last time he started a game was, Adam?
Did he make a single start last year? That's what's going through my mind. So then if not, was it like game 6 of the World Series?
Game 5.
Game 5?
When he didn't cover first base. That was his last, because he went through the offseason and he said his arm was sore, and then they realized that he needed Tommy John surgery.
You know what the other crazy thing is about Gerrit Cole is, do you remember he had an opt-out clause in his contract?
Yes, he did.
And Scott Boras is his agent, who's obviously everyone knows how he deals with his players. Gerrit Cole opted out of his contract thinking he could get a better deal. He had like 4 years. I think if I remember correctly, it was like 4 years, 144.
Yeah.
So he had like a chunk of change left in his contract, but he thought he could do better than that on the free agent market. He opted out and basically couldn't find that a better offer on the market, which meant that teams didn't value him more than that at that age and with the wear and tear on his arm, etc. And the Yankees basically re-signed him to the exact same contract. It basically like erased had he not opted out. It was like here's a 4-year 144. Like the Yankees could have walked away from Gerrit Cole and said you opted out, and like they could have foregone all that risk. They signed him to that contract, and then he never even threw a pitch last year because of Tommy John.
That's a decision made.
And he's missed now almost 2 months of this season, and no one knows how effective he'll be.
No one knows. I guess his velocity down in the minor leagues has been okay, but that's the biggest question for everyone is how is his velocity going to look? Now, Spencer Jones, the La Costa Canyon graduate, I am a friend of Spencer Jones just by pure fact. I went to La Costa Canyon.
He and KOC all hanging out, right?
And Mickey Moniak.
Oh yeah, and Mickey Moniak.
You know, I told Chris
La Costa Canyon, just a professional sports powerhouse, huh?
I told Chris that I've been quickly moved off the Mount Rushmore of La Costa Canyon. I mean,
hey, the fact that you made it though, right?
I don't know that I made it. I'm going to assume that I made it. I mean, I graduated with a guy named Craig Kessler, who is now the LPGA commissioner. So
I'm sure he returns your text, right?
I don't have Craig's number. I don't.
By the way, Gerrit Cole is 35 years old, turns 36 in September.
See, with his contract, I always thought like the Yankees did him a solid. Like, you've given us so much, we're going to help you out, and it backfired.
Those are the worst
on them.
kinds of contracts.
They are.
The Lakers did it with Kobe late in his career too.
They did, and you can't be emotional when you're dealing with $35 million a year. You have to be factual. You can't be emotional. Another story. Mets are recalling their number 2 prospect, Jonah Tong. He's the number 36 prospect in baseball. So Craig Kimbrel was DFA'd. How many teams do you think Craig Kimbrel has played for? I'm going to go click on this. That's right now.
That's a great question.
He's got to
try and name them?
Yeah, let's do that.
I'm going to go as close to an order as I can.
Okay.
You have it?
I do.
Braves.
Okay.
Padres.
Wow. Yes.
Red Sox.
Yes.
Cubs.
Yes.
Am I out of order or still in order?
No, you're in order.
Orioles.
No.
He played for the Orioles.
He did in 2024. Yeah.
So I'm out of order.
Yeah.
Back with the Braves at some point.
Did
he play for the Dodgers?
He did. 2022.
That's all I got. How many am I missing?
You're missing a couple. He went to in 2021. He went from the Cubs to the White Sox. And then the Phillies in 2023. And then last year he was an Astro. Oh yeah, he was a Brave again last year.
Yeah.
And then he was a Met this year. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or 10 teams in his career.
Skraby, is he a Hall of Famer?
He's not. I guess I should really look at his numbers.
He's number 5 all-time on the all-time saves.
Yeah, I was thinking that because he's got 440 saves. He's only blown 59 saves in his entire career. He's thrown 836 and 2/3 innings. His ERA for his...
Is Aroldis Chapman a Hall of Famer?
You know what? I'm going to change my mind. I'm not saying he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I do think Craig Kimbrel should be in the Hall of Fame when you save 440 games.
Kimbrel has 18 more saves than Billy Wagner, who just made the Hall of Fame. And he has 61 more saves than Aroldis Chapman, who's still playing.
Yeah.
Still getting saves. But Guys who you might consider
61 saves would be hard to catch him unless he played another couple of years. Chapman.
But I mean, Billy Wagner just got in the Hall of Fame. He's got more saves than Dennis Eckersley. Now Eckersley was a starter for part of his career.
You know what? I dismissed Craig Kimbrel too easy there for a second when you asked me originally, because I mean, blowing less than 60 games in your entire career is pretty darn good. 440 on saves. He's a Hall of Famer. And Aroldis Chapman's probably a Hall of Famer too once he's already up there to begin with. 61 saves behind Craig Kimbrel. Craig Kimbrel, though, although moving a lot stinks, it's kind of the life. Just getting to play baseball for your entire young adult life, I guess. Did you like him when he was with the Braves?
I mean, growing up in Atlanta as a Braves fan, when he came up, he was a phenom.
He was the guy with the arm, and
the way that Padres fans feel about Mason Miller right now is how Braves fans felt about Craig Kimbrel early in his career. He was absolutely untouchable, but he also had the intimidation factor because of how he leaned over with his arm like this. I mean, he was untouchable. And then there's all Braves fans will have this. There's a lasting image just seared into our brain of a Braves-Dodgers playoff series when Craig Kimbrel was warmed up. He was ready to go in the bullpen, come in late in the game. And I guess, I don't remember which manager, may have been Freddie Gonzalez, stuck with whichever reliever it was against Dodgers, and Juan Uribe hit a 3-run home run to win, basically take the lead in the 8th inning, win the game. And Craig Kimbrel is just standing there in the bullpen, both hands on his hips, like, why didn't you go to me? Like that is seared into our memories.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty bad. He had 50 saves. Yeah. All right. I'm convinced. You convinced me. He's a Hall of Famer. Last story, Pope Leo. He's a big White Sox fan. And I guess Paul Konerko autographed a jersey for him, and it finally made its way to the Vatican. So now
How does it even make its way to the Vatican? That's what logistically.
It's probably got to go through a bunch of checks.
But do you drop it in UPS or FedEx?
I don't know.
Go to the Vatican. Is there somebody who's traveling with the signed jersey?
I would think so.
Hand delivering it?
Right? You would think so. I would think that someone is hand delivering it, because you don't just give the Pope a FedEx package and be like, "Here you go."
And how is Paul Konerko chosen as the
there's a story behind that. There's a story behind that.
Was it a team decision and they chose him, or did Paul Konerko just be like, "Oh, the Pope's a White Sox fan, I'm going to do this"?
No, it was that, and also Paul Konerko was number 14, and this is kind of lame, but Pope Leo is also the 14th Pope. Okay. And so that's how they did it. But they gave him a jersey. It said Konerko and underneath Pope Leo, and he signed it. So I think that's the first Major League Baseball jersey that's probably in the Vatican. I don't think any other Pope would have any need for a baseball jersey.
I thought perhaps the White Sox asked Frank Thomas to sign a jersey, and he told them to pound sand.
Maybe he did. Who knows? What number was he?
I don't know, but things are a little frosty between
Frank Thomas, it is,
and the White Sox.
It is. I will never forget when Chris and I saw Frank Thomas checking into the Hall of Fame hotel in Cooperstown. Massive human being. Massive. All right. That's it for our trip around baseball. When we get back, CBS 8's Jake Gery, and he's going to join me. We're going to talk a little bit Padres up next on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, so here's what happened. I was at the corner, and I'm going to call out the streets because who cares? It was Claremont Mesa Drive and Ruffin Road, which is pretty close to our radio station here.
Yep.
I had to run over and pick up a little cash from the bank. That was simple, trip before I came into work. And I'm on Ruffin Road, coming up to Claremont Mesa Boulevard.
Ruffin Road can be a little rough sometimes.
Well, they could pave that. It wouldn't hurt. Yeah, it wouldn't hurt if they can't call it paved road. I know that.
Wait, your issue isn't the potholes in the road?
No, that was I'm used to that. So we come up on Claremont Mesa, and we're at the stoplight. I'm in the left-hand turn lane to turn left on Claremont Mesa. I'm the third car back. And there's a 2 left turn lanes. There's 3 cars in line here. And then the going straight is also red. And that is backed up each of the lanes. So that I've got cars on my right. I've got cars on my left. I got 2 in front of me. I got people behind me. No big deal. Light cycles through. And our turn doesn't come.
Oh, no.
So the cross traffic gets to go again. And then the people coming across in our direction, they get to go again. And then for a second time, they skip our turn. Well, that's what I thought. So now...
Actually, you're not going anywhere. You're stuck.
Right, you're stuck.
You're not going anywhere.
And my first thought, of course, as a good scout or, athlete, is to look around. Is there any way out? Can I back up? Can I, I'll do anything. But there is nowhere for me to go.
No.
It happens a third time.
Whoa.
And I'm pretty clear at this point, this light's broken. And I'm starting to think, how are we going to get out of this? Am I going to have to call, the police to come and fix it? No one's going to know it's broken.
911 emergency response.
Yeah.
Emergency. Ruffin Road in Claremont. The light is stuck.
The light is stuck. And so this is 5 minutes probably, but you can imagine 5 minutes.
No,
that's a long time, right?
Time.
Well, when it comes to the fourth time, I finally start just leaning on my horn.
Oh,
I'm trying to get...
What are the people in front of you going to do?
Well, because there was a moment, right, after the traffic comes this way, it paused.
You want them to run the light.
You could at least, a couple people could run the light. We could get this going here.
You want them to run the light.
I did.
Break the law.
Well, they had to. Otherwise, we'd still be there. Anyway, so this is going on. So I'm starting leaning on my horn. The lady next to me looks at me like, what the hell are you doing?
Good for her. Good for her.
And good for her. Yeah. I'm like, ma'am,
kidding.
Are you just clueless? Were you going to sit here the rest of your life?
She has faith that the light's going to turn eventually.
Evidently so. If it had gone again, the guy next to me on this side rolled down his passenger window. That starts to go down. I think he's going to be mad. And he's like, what? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure the light's broken. Like, how do you not know this? We've all been sitting here for 6-7 minutes now. The two cars at the very front of the left turn lane are not budging. So they apparently are content to sit there for as long as it need be.
They also have faith that the light is going to turn.
But I have no faith.
What gives them that faith?
Yeah, but what gave them the faith? I mean, it had cycled through 4 times now. The 5th time, I was going to just have to get out of my car and walk up to that and go, will you please do something? Or get, and if you don't, and I would have,
something.
You know what I would have said? If you don't want to run the light, just get out of my way so I can run the light. I'm not sitting here the rest of the day. And finally, on the 5th time, the first 2 people ran the light, and the next person was able to get you know what I mean? And after a couple more cycles through, I got out of there. But I don't know.
Did the light ever start working?
I don't know. If you're at Claremont Mason Ruffin Road, you might still be there. I don't know. This was 45 minutes ago or so.
Wow.
So my question to you is, how differently would you have handled this than I did? And I'll start with you, Tony. Would there have been any difference, or do you know?
I don't know if I would have laid on my horn.
You would have just never laid on it.
I think I might have maybe rolled down the window, see if I could talk to somebody, see what else.
See if anybody else was in on it?
I don't think I would have laid on my horn because, listen, what you're asking is for them to, which may not be easy for everybody, and that is the timing between when because they're waiting for their light to turn.
Yes,
right?
they were waiting for
the light's not going to turn. But that also then requires them to guess the exact kind of when the timing of when they can go. And
yeah, well, you know what? Figure it out.
I think a lot of people wouldn't be comfortable with
running the light,
with
even under these circumstances. Well, I think
not when there's other cars that could actually hit them.
Okay, I think you are right, and the reason I think you're right is because of the 40 to 50 cars that were now piled up in my area behind me and around me. I was the only one honking.
Right, and then
nobody else thought to do this. All right, so here's what happened. I was at the corner, and I'm going to call out the streets because who cares? It was Claremont Mesa Drive and Ruffin Road, which is pretty close to our radio station here.
Yep.
I had to run over and pick up a little cash from the bank. That was simple, trip before I came into work. And I'm on...
Welcome back into the Bill House Studios, where we know how. 97.3 The Fan. I'm Matt Skraby. This is Gwynn and Chris. Gwynn was here earlier. You'll hear from him again in the Big Five. Also, our interview with Rodolfo Duran. Chris will be back on Tuesday. No shows on Monday. If you love Mediterranean food, try Spiros for authentic Mediterranean cuisine in Coronado or La Jolla. For dining or takeout options, visit spiroscuisine.com. All right, we're going to get your traffic report, and then on the other side of that, CBSH Jake Gery.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center. Injured? Demand justice. Demand Jurowitz. 855GetRoss.com.
Heads up for a fire being handled on the northbound 5 near the exchange with the 15. The southbound 5 is slow from the 52. You'll be heavy in spots through downtown all the way to Chula Vista. I'm John Yeazel, Odyssey San Diego Traffic.
This game day traffic report is brought to you by Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water.
What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water different? We always bottle our Alpine Spring Water less than 1.5 miles from the spring source, and all our bottles are made with 50% recycled plastic from our own recycling plants. Crystal Geyser, bottled at the spring source.
Jake Gery joins us on the 97 or the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big bank banking, it's better. Jake, hello. How are you today?
I'm wonderful as always. Scraby, how you doing, my friend?
Pretty good. Thank you for jumping on short notice. I will never forget this. When you came into studio with me, I don't know, maybe 3-4 months ago, and I had a Rubik's Cube in my backpack, and you ended up solving the Rubik's Cube while we were talking Padres on the air. I don't think I'll ever forget that. Has anyone mentioned that to you since? Because I get a few people that are like, did he really do that?
I haven't had anyone mention it to me. I have about 3 talents in this world, and that's one of them. So I kind of used up my one talent on your show, unfortunately. So I think that trick's been done for everybody that actually knows me. They know that I've done that trick before, unfortunately.
Well, it impressed me.
Good. I'm glad.
What isn't impressive right now? We're just going to jump right into it because I know the Fernando question's coming. But we've said everything we could say on the show about Fernando. Basically, we just hope he turns it around. What are you thinking about Fernando? What do you think needs to happen to get him back on track?
I heard this the other day and I actually said it on our podcast yesterday, and I think it really rings true, so it's worth repeating. Somebody once told me, and again, I forgive, I don't remember who it was, so I can't give him credit, but I thought it was really accurate to what we're seeing with Fernando, where sometimes people will sacrifice being really, really good to try and be great. And I feel like we're almost in that situation with Fernando Tatis Jr., where we can all see it, right? He's tinkering with his swing a bunch, trying all sorts of different things. And he's done it over the course of his career because I think he wants to reach that level of greatness. But sometimes when you do that, you tinker, you mess around with it, you're almost sacrificing what made you really, really great. And I think at times Fernando probably has a lot of people in his ear between hitting coaches and his father and all that stuff that maybe he tinkers a little too much, and it almost falls into that category. And I know people are going to be making me sound like I'm crazy because you're saying, hey, how can he be great? He's hitting in the low 200s, doesn't have a home run. Well, it's again, I think he's almost challenging himself so much. He's tinkering so much that he's sacrificing what made him so good to try and get to that elite level. And I think you're kind of seeing the cost of it at the moment. That's the best way I could summarize it. And like you said, we've heard every theory. We've heard every single thing about Fernando Tatis Jr. He's got to close his stance. He's got to get it out of his head. He's got to get the launch angle up.
He doesn't
we've heard
care.
it all, right? Yeah, he doesn't care. We've heard it all. But to me, it almost feels like that situation of sacrificing being really good to try and get to be great.
Yeah, that's a good explanation. We're talking to Jake Gery here on the SDCCU fan hotline of CBSA. They haven't really moved him down in the lineup. They did a couple times. They put him down to 5th in the lineup. I know Jackson moved down in the lineup. Now he's at the top of the lineup again. Where do you think he should bat in the order?
This might not be a sexy answer, but I don't know if it matters, to be completely honest. When you're talking about at least the struggles he's going through, whether he's hitting 1, 3, 6, 9, I really don't think it's going to change his approach too much, at least with what I feel like we're watching him go through. So whether he is hitting, 1st or 3rd or 5th or 7th, I don't think you're going to see a different approach from Fernando Tatis Jr. based on where he's at in the lineup. Maybe there's a little bit of different pressure, whether you're leading off a game, that first at bat, but otherwise, I don't think it's all about hey, if they stick him in that 6th spot and take a little pressure off, all of a sudden he's going to start launching home runs and hitting 340 on the year. I don't think it's that simple as far as where in the lineup he is. If you want my answer to your question, which I'm sure you do, I guess the leadoff spot is the best spot for Fernando. Given, yeah, he did ask, right? Given the current construction of the roster, I think he's probably the best leadoff option for this team. But I think more importantly, it really doesn't matter as far as trying to break out of the struggles where he's hitting in that lineup, in my personal opinion.
I think you're right. There's not really a place to put him elsewhere, and then you have to find a new leadoff hitter, and no one's really hitting it to begin with. I mean, Manny, we talked about the big three yesterday, and we're just going to call them the big three: Jackson, Fernando, and Manny. They're all struggling. I said that I'm not worried about Manny because it seems like Manny always gets his numbers no matter where he's at in the season. I'm a little worried about Fernando at this point, but I'm very worried about Jackson because he hasn't had struggles like this at the major league level. He's still young. Obviously, he's going to try and figure it out. But out of those three guys, who are you worried about going forward?
That's a good question. If I had to pick out of those three guys, like the Jackson thing is interesting because we saw some of those struggles last year.
Yeah.
I think I like to chalk it up to some of the injuries he went through last year. But now that we're starting to see it bleed into this season, yeah, they're starting to be a little bit concerned behind Jackson Merrill. What I'll say about Manny, the thing that I guess concerns me overall with Manny is just how much of that contract is left. And if he's starting to regress a little, and look, he may do his thing, he may post like he loves to say, and be great for the rest of the year, and then I can eat my words. But like if we are starting to maybe see the beginning of the regression of Manny Machado, at least offensively at the plate, that's concerning when you consider how much money is left to him, how many years are left on that contract. So I guess big picture, that one is a little concerning if he doesn't pick it up, right?
Yeah.
The Jackson Merrill one, to me, it's almost like, hey, case is still out. Verdict still needs to be seen on how it all comes together. And then, like we mentioned with Toddy, I mean, what else could be said there? I guess we'll wait and see on that one.
Yeah. I get people in my DMs that are like, Fernando, he needs to be DFA'd. Like, people. It's not going to happen. Like, you're never going to see Fernando get DFA'd. Let's talk about some good stuff. Like, starting pitching's been pretty good here in the last couple of weeks. We saw Lucas Giolito on Sunday pitch pretty well. We saw Michael King pitch well on Monday. Let's go back to Lucas Giolito. What do you think he could bring to this team for the rest of the season if he pitches like he did on Sunday?
Yeah, I think much needed quality innings, right? You're putting a guy out there that's been there, that's done that at least showed in his first start for the Padres that he can definitely still get outs against good teams. And this is a team that, as we've talked about many times, desperately needs some innings in that rotation, some good quality innings. And I think he's a guy that can, elevate the rest of that staff and a guy that can definitely go out there every day. And I think, especially for this team, you need to give yourself a chance in every game with kind of the way this rotation is right now with some of these maybe veteran journeyman guys that they have. It's like, if you can keep the Padres in a game every time you go out there, I think that's all they're really asking for. And Lucas Giolito, most definitely, in the small sample size we've seen with him, has shown that he can do that. And, he hadn't thrown at the major league level in a really, really long time. So for him to go out there to pitch that well, I think it's a really promising sign that he could be a key piece in this rotation as the season moves forward while, they wait and hope to get some of these other big arms back.
We're talking to Jake Gery here on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big bank banking. It's better. And I'm just running through it all because I need all of your opinions, Jake. But
yeah, baby.
Craig
I love
Stammen,
it.
yeah, it's rapid fire right now. Craig Stammen, I think, he's been kind of refreshing to me because he seems like a guy who you could trust. It seems like a guy who doesn't want to hide things. But there are some people complaining about him giving too much stuff away in his press conferences. I'm not one of those people. What have you thought about how Craig Stammen has managed so far this year?
Yeah, it's either they never say enough or they're saying too much, or you should have made this move in that inning and you should have done that. I think overall, big picture, Craig Stammen's done a really, really good job. To your point, I think he's very candid. He's very forward. He's willing to do stuff really different, which I've enjoyed, which I think has sparked the team on multiple occasions. We'll flip the lineup. We'll do this. We'll have this guy go here and do that. And it seems to have sparked the teams on multiple different occasions. Sure, there have been rookie managerial mistakes by Craig Stammen, but did anybody expect it to be perfect? I mean, absolutely not. When you're having a guy, who's never managed at any level before, jump in there and start managing big league games. And one time recently, I was talking, actually, when we were down in Mexico City, I was speaking with Ruben Niebla, and he mentioned, and I thought this said a lot. He mentioned, he goes, I'm able to have conversations, and so is this entire staff, with Craig Stammen during the game, about the game, of how we want to attack things as a team. And Ruben flat out said, look, those were conversations that did not happen in the past. And so I think I mentioned this when I was on with you guys last time with you and Chris. And, when you really do have everybody, and I know it's cliche, but when you do really have everybody pulling on that same rope and in an entire team working in the same direction, I think that's why you get wins like the Padres have gotten in situations where they absolutely probably shouldn't have. Right. And so I think the camaraderie thing, the togetherness thing, that technically shouldn't be underplayed. And I think he's done a really, really good job about that. We're only 50 games into this thing. As we go through the course of 162, we'll get a better idea. But I don't think any blame really needs to be placed, and there should be blame. They're 9 games over 500, but I don't think Craig Stammen should be on anybody's radar as, if we change this, we'd be in such a better position than we are now.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. We're talking to Jake Gery, and here CBS 8. What about the overall? Actually, let me go to Mason Miller. I want to talk about Mason Miller because everybody wants to talk about him. I guess Brad Lidge, who is a Philly guy, said that he would choose Yohan Duran over Mason Miller when you needed to get one out to win a World Series. But what have you thought about Mason Miller? You've seen him a bunch of times. You've talked to him in the clubhouse. What is your overall opinion on Mason Miller?
I mean, he's spectacular. I don't think there's any other way to slice it. This is a generational arm. The Padres are seeing the fruits of that this season. The middle game against the Dodgers, I know people want to look at that and go, oh, look, we had one little flaw from Mason Miller. Yeah, it's going to happen over the course of a season. He's been absolutely unbelievable. He's must watch. I've never felt, and maybe it's Trevor Hoffman, I've never felt more confident in a game in a pitcher when Mason Miller's coming in. I think everyone pretty much is like, yeah, that's wraps. Put a bow on it, chalk this one up in the win column. He's just been on an elite level, on a different level than anybody else. And, this is why AJ made the move. And I know, it ruffles all the feathers in the world when you talk about Leo Dallas DeVries and having to give him up for Mason Miller and all the trades that AJ Preller has made. But this bullpen and the reason he went out and got Mason Miller, who, by the way, is very controllable, they have him for quite a while, is exactly what you've seen this season play out. It's win now mode. It's a guy that can shorten the game. This bullpen has done such a good job of shortening games. And when you're going through the amount of injuries in the starting pitching position like the Padres have, you got to be able to shorten those games. When your offense is going through struggles like the Padres have at times, you got to be able to shorten those games to give yourself a chance. And Mason Miller has been on top of that mountain of helping the Padres do that.
They absolutely have. Jake, thank you so much. One last thing. It's not about baseball. Are you excited for NASCAR coming to town?
I'm looking forward to it. It's something different. I don't get to cover a whole lot of racing and NASCAR, and we've done some interviews with some of the drivers, and I think it's going to be quite a spectacle when you talk about what the race will look like on television and getting to be there in person. So I'm always up for a little something different, that's for sure. So boogity, 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 baby. Let's go racing.
I love it. Boogity, 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 boys. Let's go racing. All right, Jake, thank you so much for joining us on short notice today. I'll talk to you very soon.
Anytime, my friend. Much love to you and Adam, and you guys take care.
Thank you very much. You too. That was Jake Gery of CBS 8 on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bang Banking. It's better. Jake is one of the most friendly people that I know in this town. And as a guy I'm a friendly person, but I'm shy. Jake was very nice in helping me break out of my shell a little bit, Adam. I don't know if you knew that, but Jake is a little bit responsible for me becoming the extrovert that I am.
And how did he do that?
He just kind of
the follow-up question that needed to be asked.
I just kind of was like, you know what? This guy's got a good attitude. This guy is living the dream, doing sports on TV. And he also worked his way up from being like a guy who went to go get audio from press conferences. So I appreciate that as well. But we thank Jake for coming on the show. I know we're not going to break just yet, but Adam has some trivia questions for me on the other side. It's going to be Scraby versus the fans. We'll tell you what you're playing for, but there are a couple Star Wars questions in there as well because it's Star Wars weekend for the Padres, and I'm not necessarily the biggest Star Wars fan in the world. I can answer general questions, so if you would like to play, Skraby versus the fans. Give us a call, 833-288-0973. Get in line. Remember, if you play for the first time, you get the first question for free, and we'll tell you everything that you need to know about Skraby versus the fans when we get back here. 97.3 The Fan.
And what is before they try, what is the heat index they're facing? Do we know? Or
Well, you could look up the Scoville on a ghost pepper.
Yeah.
It's one of the world's hottest. There's a couple of hotters.
Scoville's the measurement unit.
The X pepper and all of that.
Thanks for the education, because I did not know.
I've allowed milk and bread, but if I was asked,
tell us the actual rules of this. Like
the rule is,
see if you can do it. I guess
you guys alternate spoonfuls until one of you can't.
One of you can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
Until you can't do it anymore.
Fulls.
I will take
And
one.
the winner,
spoonful of
Skraby,
this.
has a jar of a couple of my jars.
I think they both are winners if they pass this.
For
I
the
hate
winners.
to say, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
There will be no back and forth. There will be one spoonful.
Now, this is the one that he has right now.
The 38?
Maybe.
Okay. All right.
No, this right here, I've been putting on some of my turkey burgers.
Good stuff.
This is hot.
Okay.
Right, we
All right, here we go.
All right. Let's
Adam's
do it.
ready.
This is
There,
a full
away he goes.
spoonful
He
of
does
the-
have a full spoonful for those listening.
I'm literally sweating watching him
That's
do
a full
this right now.
spoon?
That's a full spoon.
All right.
Sure.
That is a full
Down
spoon.
the hatch we go.
All
All right.
right.
And man, he went the whole thing. He did not. He did not trickle that down the throat. He just
hasn't reached for the milk yet.
Skraby's coming over.
When does the heat kick in?
Oh,
I knew it.
When does the heat kick in? Wow.
You better go, dude.
There goes Skraby.
They both
Skraby,
did.
did you swallow that, Skraby? Yeah.
That is some good stuff.
It's delicious.
delicious.
We're gonna see it. I'm gonna watch you now.
I'm feeling it already. I am. Are you?
No.
He's
Adam's
feeling good.
feeling nothing. All right, so take another spoonful, Adam. You'll win.
Oh, come on. Now we're double dipping.
He's all
you
one
can't put your
spoonful.
same
That's
spoon
not
in
what
there.
the competition's all about.
We always said
Spoonful
that.
two?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh yeah.
I always said that Adam Klug was kind of had a.
I at least used a different spoon, no double dipping.
All right.
I didn't know where. I don't.
I
Think
always
it
thought
matters.
Adam Klug had a cold persona, but evidently it's just the opposite.
All right.
Big
He
boss
is
Michael
handling
Valenzuela
it.
in the
Wait,
YouTube
no,
chat,
dog.
by the way.
What you waiting on? You let laughing and drip in your hand. Oh, okay.
Scraby, where are you? Let me see.
Okay.
I'm just looking at Adam, and Adam's not having any problem at all.
Look at you, Adam.
Adam is backed up.
But this
I must tell you, Tony,
no.
that Adam has cashed the check.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he did.
cashed
You
his
said I
check.
wouldn't be able to cash
I
it.
did.
No, you
I
cashed
sure
it,
did.
man.
You proved
cashed
me
it
wrong,
for
my
sure.
friend. I
Scraby,
gotta tell you though, this is further proof that whatever we got him with that
the
tie,
tie thing,
was
yeah, because
super weak.
this is less than a 10,
he's
right?
He's over here having a difficult time.
You're turning a little red,
The time
Scraby.
was just as bad.
You're turning a little
hit me
red.
By the way,
faster.
this is delicious.
Oh my God!
he's going
taking
for
that
it.
one.
Yes.
Come on, Adam. Wow, you're gonna have to come back in 6 months with like an 88.
Oh.
38.
We'll have to go with the higher Scoville next time.
All right. Oh, wow. Look at this guy. He's talking trash now.
Well,
I haven't had a sip of milk or
He
bread.
hasn't even reached for it.
No, he doesn't
came out
even
of the
need the
gates
bread.
talking trash.
All right.
All right. Now I'm going to take another one.
What?
Well,
Why
you got
are
to you got to
doing
hold
this
another
to
spoon.
yourself?
No, because I don't want.
You don't want Adam to say
He,
he
by
has
the way,
wheat sauce,
yeah, he
baby.
get the whole
Full spoon,
get the same
baby.
thing that like he's dropping it all in there.
Keep the studio clean.
It's all anybody's
Big
worried
boss
about.
Michael watching over here. Come on.
Ooh, boy. Scrabe, get back in front of the camera. Your face is red, Scrabe. Isn't it, Tony? Are you
I'm
seeing
sweating.
the same thing?
You are sweating. Your face is definitely.
Why do you keep doing this?
You're not feeling anything?
Adam isn't even
Anything?
moved over
I
there.
feel a 1 or maybe a 2 out of 10 here.
Wow.
Adam
That's ridiculous
Klug.
because I'm.
Wow.
Adam Klug is a tough
Maybe
son
now
of a
bent
gun.
over the trash can.
No,
over
I had
there.
to spit.
I was going to say, it looks like Adam Klug may be producing the rest of the show because he's fine. Scraby may need
Scraby's
to
going to
go
bed.
get
Yeah,
assistance.
Here's want the milk, dude. Did
Frank
Michael work
predicted
better?
that.
No.
Oh, did he?
Frank
Scraby's having
predicted that.
bread.
Oh yeah, that Adam would just cruise through this with
Frank
no problem.
predicted this.
He did.
Frank on the last show.
I
said
know you
Adam
had
would
it
have
like
no
that.
He
problem.
did.
I got a newfound respect from Tony Gwynn Jr.
Yes,
here.
you do.
So-
all right.
So Scraby has the prizes for you, Adam. You have won a jar of the ghost.
You can
pepper
have as much of this
salsa
as you want at all
and
times.
the,
Yeah.
Mr. Lane's roasty 38 chili powder.
You should let me have that chili powder though. I think I do. I think I would do more damage.
Started
with
off
this.
giving me the mild.
And what is before they try, what is the heat index they're facing? Do we know? Or
Well, you could look up the Scoville on a ghost pepper.
Yeah.
It's one of the world's hottest. There's a couple of hotters.
Scoville's the
Reaper
measurement unit.
The X pepper and all of that.
Thanks for the education, because I did not know.
I've allowed milk and bread, but if I was
So
asked,
tell us the actual rules of this. Like
the rule
Just wanna
is,
see if you can do it, I guess.
you guys alternate spoonfuls until one of you can't.
One of you can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
Until you can't do it anymore.
I will take
And
one
the winner,
spoonful of
Skraby,
this.
has a jar of
Here it is.
a couple of my jars.
I think they
Products.
both are winners if they pass
Hold on,
this.
for
I
the
hate to
winners.
say, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
There will be no back and forth. There will be one spoonful.
Now
This is the one that he has right now.
The 38,
maybe.
Okay. All right.
No,
maybe.
this right here, I've been putting on some of my turkey burgers.
Good stuff.
This is hot.
Okay.
All right, we doing
All right,
this?
hold on.
Here we go.
All right, let's
Adam's
do it.
ready.
This is a
There,
full
away he goes.
spoonful
God, he
of
does
the-
have a full spoonful
does.
for those
There's-
listening.
there's
on
no
that.
doubt. I'm literally sweating watching him
That's
do
a
this
full
right
spoon?
now. That's a full spoon.
All
For
right.
sure.
That is a full
Down the
spoon.
hatch we go.
All
All right.
right.
And man, he went the whole thing. He did not.
My
He did
turn?
not trickle that down the throat. He
He
just.
hasn't reached for the milk yet.
Scraby's coming over.
When does the heat kick in?
Oh,
I knew it.
When does the heat kick in?
Wow.
You better go, dude.
There goes Scraby.
They
Scraby,
both
did
did.
you swallow that, Scraby? Yeah.
That is some good stuff.
It's delicious.
delicious.
We're gonna see
Tasty.
it. I'm gonna watch you now.
I'm feeling it already. I am, are you?
No.
He's
Adam's
feeling good.
feeling nothing. All right, so take another spoonful, Adam. You'll win.
Oh, come on. Now we're double dipping.
Yeah, he's
yeah,
all
you
one
can't put your
spoonful.
same
That's
spoon
not
in
what
there.
the competition's all about.
We always said
Spoonful
that.
too?
Yeah.
Welcome back into the Bill Howe Studios, where we know how. I'm Matt Skraby. This is Gwynn and Chris. Tony Gwynn Jr. back here for the Big Five around 4:35, 4:40. Sammy Lev's going to check in with us at 5 p.m. and we're going to hear from Rodolfo Duran again. He visited us for Friday earlier in the show, and we asked him some questions about his first career hit, which also was a home run. So you'll hear that at 5:20. Right now, we're not going to get into the game just yet, but right now is Skraby versus the fans. And here is what you're going to be qualified for. It's a shot at the grand prize, a $500 gift card.
Win.
If you win, yes. If you win, you'll be qualified for a shot at the grand prize. $500 gift card to Westgate, Las Vegas, the home of legendary Vegas fun, now offering the breakaway from fees package, including a $75 daily dining credit, 2 day spa passes, daily cabaret tickets, complimentary valet parking, and $0 resort fees. Special rates starting at $89 a night. Book now at WestgateLasVegas.com. We'll play that in just a second, but at 4:20, we're going to hear from Craig Stammen, because he was on with Ben Woods this morning, and he talked about, or they asked him about moving Fernando down the order. So I want to hear what Craig Stammen said about that. We're also going to, Jake Gery made an interesting point about Manny and his contract. And so I was just looking through a spot track here in the break, and there I have some thoughts. So we'll talk about that as well on the other side. But it looks like our phone lines are now full. So let's get into it.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
howdy do.
Now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris versus the fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
It's actually Skraby versus the fans here on 97.3 The Fan. Also, we still have Padres tickets to give away, but we're not doing that right here. So do not call in right now for the Padres tickets. But I have never been on this side of the game before, so I'm looking forward to this. And basically, I need to give you the rules. You have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get it wrong and I get it right, you are eliminated. If I get it wrong, then you move on to the next question, or you win. If you're a first-time player, thank you, Adam. Then tell us on your first question. You'll get that question for free today. Player! Yeah. We'll get to that in a second. All right, let's go to our first contestant. Let's go to Russell in Escondido. Russell, I'll hit him. There we go.
Yes.
Hello, Russell. How are you today?
Don't hit Russell.
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you. I'm so shocked.
You're
First time
shocked?
caller.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never done this before. And I'm just calling in to just say, hey, why aren't we looking at the batting coach? That's the most common denominator. Come on. But anyway.
We'll talk about the hitting coach a little bit later because I actually do. Annie Halbert interviewed him.
That's great. That's great. Thank you very much for picking me up.
You're welcome.
We have a first-time player here.
Yeah, he's a first-time player, so let's go question number 2. Oh,
So-
you're host. Okay.
Thanks,
I'll be
Skraby.
quiet. I'll be quiet.
So, Russell, you get to bypass question number 1 and go straight to question number 2. My entire second round is going to be Star Wars related. This is Star Wars weekend.
So, okay.
I'm going to ask you a question. Hold on. Hold tight. Which actor played Luke Skywalker in the original Star Wars?
He was just on Colbert the other night. From San Diego. Hamill?
Hamill.
Yep, Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill.
Did you know, Adam, that he is also the Joker in Batman cartoons? And he has one of the best Joker laughs ever. His Joker laugh is
You care
amazing.
to give us?
No,
what
I
it
can't
sounds
even
like?
do it. I can't.
Save that.
Dang it. All right, Russell, question number 3.
Walked right into that trap.
I did.
All right, so if Russell gets this one, he wins and the game is over. Or if he misses it and Skraby misses it. There are 3 Padres position players tied for the team lead in WAR, wins above replacement. Name any one of the 3 players tied.
Current players or all players?
Current, this season.
Michael King.
Position players. No, it's position players.
Oh, position players. Sorry. I'm going to go Miguel Andujar.
Miguel Andujar.
Wow, really? Jeez. Man.
According to according to ESPN's WAR.
I was actually going to say him because that was the first name that came to mind, but the second name that came to mind was Gavin Sheets.
Gavin Sheets. I'm just confirming this now.
Uh-oh.
Nope. Gavin
What?
Sheets.
What?
You know what that means? We
That
have a
means he
winner.
wins. Russell wins.
You don't have an applause thing on here.
I do. It's in the top left. Nice job, Russell. Very nice job. I cannot believe that I.
Thank you.
Okay. Am I not thinking of war?
Russell, sit tight. We're going to get to you during the break.
Am I not thinking of war correctly? Because Gavin Sheets has been the best hitter.
All right. So this is according to WAR on ESPN's website. Ty France, Luis Camposano, and Xander Bogaerts all have 0.7 WAR so far this season.
Are they saying
Gavin
defensive
Sheets
plays
is at
are helping
0.6.
too?
Gavin Sheets is at 0.6.
Oh, so he was right there. He was right there. But is that
And Andujar's at 0.4.
I got to think it's because he doesn't play defense. Is this a combination war of offense and defense?
I guess so. I mean, this is crazy. It's got Manny at negative 0.2 and Tatis at negative 0.3.
I mean, that makes sense. But wow, I'm stunned.
I thought it was a
honestly.
tough question. I would have never thought that those were the top 3.
Me neither. Not in 100 years. I was just thinking of guys who have been actually hitting for the Padres. But wow. All right, Russell, you are going to be qualified for this grand
those 3
prize.
have been hitting for the Padres.
They have, but I'm just not sure why they weren't at the top. That's insane.
Joseph in the chat says Fangraphs has Sheets at number 3.
He qualified it with ESPN. So it was ESPN.
What I was looking at.
Yeah. Wow. Good job, Russell. I thought we were going to get some. You want to ask those other Star Wars questions to see if I know?
Sure.
All right.
I mean, I think these are pretty easy ones. Which actor played Han Solo in Star Wars?
Oh, Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford.
Wait. Yeah. Okay. Whew.
Lastly, which actress played Princess Leia? Again, these are all
Oh,
basic.
gosh. What are her name? She passed away.
The late
Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher.
Anything else?
No, those are the 3 I came up with.
All right.
Not that those are pretty basic ones. Now, you said you are not a Star Wars fan.
I watch the movies. I'm not like someone who will know the universe. Like I will go and sit down and watch the movie, but I won't be like, well, actually, they can't do that because Andor's in another universe. Like,
how many movies are we up to? 9?
More.
Of the movies?
Are we talking about
the TV shows? Like the official movies?
You got Solo, you got Rogue One, you got a ton of
the
those
original
movies.
3 were 4, 5 and 6.
4, 5, and 6. Then they made 1, 2, 3, which
So
were terrible.
And now they did 7, 8, and 9.
I don't believe it. Is it 7, 8, 9? Joseph's saying 14. See, this is where I don't really know if the 3 movies,
TV shows that are all these things. I was just more curious about the actual movies.
Well, now there's a Mandalorian movie, and this is why Star Wars weekend is this weekend. That's Star Wars.
It's got Star Wars characters, but it's not like within the timeline of the progression of the story arc of Star Wars.
I know nothing about the Mandalorian.
I've never seen
All I know is that when I call that little guy Baby Yoda, it makes people very angry because his name is Grogu. I know that. It's Grogu. Brandon says, I got a Star Wars Angel jersey from their Star Wars weekend if anybody wants it for the low price of a beer. I was actually up there for the Angel Star Wars weekend earlier this year, and R2-D2 was just running around. You know who R2-D2 is, right? Brian, Adam?
Of course.
Which one is he?
R2-D2?
Yeah.
He is the little white and blue.
Thank you. All right.
Silo-looking robot.
You know. Yeah. All right. I love this. Dun, 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 dun. You know, when I was at the Radio Row in Houston, it was the Patriots Falcons Super Bowl.
Oh, I remember.
And Roger Goodell was walking down the hallway, and he had like at least 20 people behind him, and he looked like he was walking to that music. He looked like he was some sort of Sith force or something
like a security detail here.
It was egregious. It was like people had to get out of the way when he walked into the room. Like they blocked it off like he was they were a secret service. It was kind of crazy. All right. Well, Russell, congratulations. We'll get your information in the break. We still have those Padres tickets that we're going to give away later in the show. We still have the Big Five. We still have Sammy Lev. But when we get back, we'll talk about we'll talk about Manny Machado's contract a little bit. We'll also hear from Craig Stammen on Ben and Woods when he was answering the question, has he contemplated moving Tatis down in the lineup? All of that is next on 97.3 The Fan. Matt Skraby in the Bill Howe studios. Adam Klug as well here with me. 97.3 The Fan. Congrats to Russell. Russell, you dropped off. If you call back, we'll get you registered for your chance to win that grand prize. But Skraby versus the Fans, one and done. That's how it usually goes. All right, we talked to Jake Gery about a couple things that I wanted to talk about in this segment. One of them was, do we think that Fernando needs to move down the lineup? The other was Manny Machado and his contract. So let's start with the Fernando stuff first. And Ben and Woods asked Craig Stammen, and earlier this morning, Padres manager Craig Stammen joined Ben and Woods for the management report presented by SDCCU. It's not big bank banking. It is better. But they asked him, do you think about moving Fernando down the lineup?
Yeah, I think we tried that a little earlier, batting him fifth for a little while. But I just didn't love how it looked. I don't think it took any pressure off of him. I don't think
it's true.
I don't think it did anything, honestly. And Fernando, being the player that he is and how much he believes in himself, actually admitted that he likes leading off. And so, that's kind of was a little bit of the decision making on allowing him to bat leadoff or putting him back at the top of the order. And I just it just is a good feeling when he's batting leadoff for us. I don't know what it is. Even when he's not hitting at his peak, it feels good, like sending him out there at the top and like, hey, this is our guy, and believing him in that way. And I think, it could change tomorrow. Obviously all this stuff changes daily or changes, based on, our conversations with the players and how they're feeling and all that kind of stuff. But, for now, I see him kind of batting, at the top of the lineup.
That was Craig Stammen with the morning show. And I didn't really expect a different answer from that. Fernando is indeed leading off for the Padres tonight, playing second base. I didn't think it looked right either when he was batting fifth. They had Ramon Laureano at the leadoff spot, and they thought they found their leadoff guy, and then he went ice cold. So they had to put Fernando back in that spot. I don't think that Fernando should be hitting in the 5, 6, 7 range, not 7, 5 or 6 range. But I kind of disagree with the manager of the Padres about batting Fernando leadoff. Like, that's where he likes to see him, because he's when Fernando's electric, that is a great spot for him. But when he's hitting weak grounders, I don't think that's a good spot for him. I don't necessarily know where to put him, but I don't know that he is the guy who's setting the tone for the lineup.
What I found interesting about the comments, and it seems like there's been a lot of conversation over the years about whether or not Fernando actually likes or enjoys batting leadoff. And like leading into the World Baseball Classic, we were having these conversations as well. And then he ended up batting leadoff in the WBC, and we're like, either he likes it or he's just kind of putting up with it and doing it. And he batted in the 2-hole for quite a while with the Padres this year, and like Craig Stammen just came out and said, I talked to him, and he admitted that he likes hitting leadoff, and that was kind of the first time I had kind of heard that coming out of Fernando's mouth.
No, that's a good point, because he's never said he doesn't like hitting leadoff, but you get the feeling that he didn't, but obviously he does now, because maybe he hit in the 5th spot and he's like, this stinks. I don't want to be in the 5th spot anymore. Nate says he's got to hit his way out of it. I tend to agree with you, Nate, but we're 50 games in and he's not hitting his way out of it. So there's nothing to be done. It's just one of your primary offensive figures is not producing to where you thought they were coming into the year, what you're paying them for. I don't even really like to talk about the money thing and what you're paying them for. But like Fernando, the reason they didn't sign someone else is because they had Fernando on the books and he was going to be their guy. I think that the answer, going back to it, Nate, it is you got to hit your way out of it. But it's hard to watch sometimes. And when I say it's hard to watch because he's struggling and that he's not seeing the ball well. Annie Halbrin interviewed Steven Souza Jr. and it's in the San Diego Union Tribune. And so I read through it, and there are a couple things that I saw that grabbed my attention. The first one, she asked, everyone locally and nationally is weighing in on Fernando Tatis Jr. and his homerless streak. What have you seen from working with him to this point? And the answer from Steven Souza Jr. was he's just kind of getting out of whack mechanically at times and trying to find it. Anybody that sees all the pressure behind him, it's human nature to want to add and make things happen. He's an electric player that loves to do those things and help the team win. I think at the end of the year, we'll look at it and it'll be just fine. Baseball people keep telling me it's going to be just fine. And I tend to trust baseball people because they're usually right. But I don't know about you, Adam. I don't feel like things are going to be fine at this point in time. Last year, Fernando started out the first month MVP stuff. Then he struggled for most of the year, and we haven't really seen him go back to that level of hitter that he was at the beginning of last year.
Fernando could still go on a tear for the rest of the season, and even while doing that, his end of season numbers, just there isn't enough time left. My point is his end of season numbers would look lesser than what we expect.
Yeah, he's not going to hit.
It doesn't mean he'll stink the rest of the year. No. It just means that the cumulative volume of stats might not be there. If you had to make a prediction, how many home runs do you think he hits the rest of the year?
I've said it before. Like, I think he'll go on some crazy streak, but my number is coming down. And it was 25 before, and then it became like 20 to 22. Now I'm hoping he breaks 20. What would you say?
At this point, based on how things are going, I'm probably in like the 18 range, 18 to 20.
Yeah, we're right in the same spot then. And that's not to say that tonight he could hit 2 home runs. Tomorrow he could hit a home run. Who knows? That's the frustrating thing about Fernando is that that he has it in there. And Chris and I talked about this a couple weeks ago or last week. We said Fernando used to be a guy where you did not go and get anything to eat. You didn't go to the bathroom. You waited for his spot in the order to come up because you wanted to see what he was going to do. Now it's the same, but it's for a completely different reason. You're trying to see if he actually hits a home run. And I do believe there is a ton of pressure on him. I think that he's feeling it right now. And Glenn Allen says, maybe stop talking about it. We can't stop talking about it. This is one of the major stories of the team this year. We could, okay, you know what? Let's switch to Manny Machado. Manny Machado is not hitting either. Manny Machado is being paid. And I just said I don't like to do the pay thing, but Manny Machado.
It's kind of like when you threw me under the bus and said, I'm not really trying to throw you under the bus.
That is true. That is true. Manny's being paid $25 million, rounding down this year. Next year, his 2027 payroll, according to Spot Track, is going to be $39 million. So he kind of backloaded the contract, or the Padres backloaded the contract because they wanted to give some room to sign some guys, but Manny Machado is hitting under 200 this year. Now, I will say he seems to be slowly coming out of it. And he hit a big home run the other day against the Dodgers to tie it up early in the game. But you're not paying Manny Machado to find his swing 50, 60, 70 games into the season. And I said this last night on the Scrabby show. If at some point Manny Machado does go on a hot streak, it's going to be a really great hot streak if he's going to get his numbers, because he always seems to get his numbers. So I'm not so much worried about him, but the rest of this contract is something we'll have to worry about down the road. But if you're someone who is looking towards the Padres in a couple years from now, which I know some fans do, Manny is getting paid $39 million. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons. His contract is up when he is in 2033 at the end of that year, and he'll be 40 years old. Now, I think Manny gets a little bit of not a pass, but I think Manny definitely has helped bring the Padres to national prominence because he chose the Padres way back when. I do think that Manny has helped the Padres sell out as many games as they're selling out. And I think that they thought when they gave him this contract that they would have at least been in a World Series or a couple deep playoff runs, which they have one deep playoff run, but they've been bounced in a couple other playoffs. So when Manny Machado in 2031 is making $39 million at the age of 38, it's not going to be, I'm predicting the future, but it does not seem like he's going to live up to that sort of contract at all. And that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. He's being paid through 2033. And if there's one person who, like, Manny Machado is very serious about legacy. Manny Machado is very serious about he doesn't really care what people think about him, but he cares about the perception as a ball player. He really is one of those old school guys in that way. So I don't worry about him just kind of loafing for the rest of his contract. But when Jake brought it up that he has this, it's a massive contract with 7 more years at $39 million, it does make you stop and think a little bit. Xander Bogaerts' contract is $25 million. The Jackson Merrill contract hasn't really kicked in yet. I think he kicks in next year or the year after. But these bills are going to be coming due. And the Padres, the window is not closed, nor is it closing quickly. But there is a window that is starting to move a little bit. I didn't know how to really make it dramatic. But there's a window that's being closed slowly, ever so slowly. And they have to figure it out because they have to take advantage of what they got right now. All right. That's Manny Machado. That is Craig Stammen. When we get back, Tony Gwynn Jr. is going to rejoin me. We have the Big Five. We also have Rodolfo Duran in the 5 o'clock hour and Sam Levitt in the 5 o'clock hour. So stick with us here. Gwynn and Chris, 97.3 The Fan. All right, it's time for the Beaver Nuggets. So the story is somehow Buc-ee's got brought up. I think Frank brought it up.
Yes.
And it's a rest stop / mall / entertainment zone, super center. And someone said on the chat yesterday that they have like 100. They went to one with like 100 gas pumps, which is a lot, I guess. But while we were talking about this, Sam Levitt was in New York listening, and he goes, "Put me on, put me on, put me on." And so we put him on, and he's talking about how much he loves Buc-ee's. And so we got into the conversation, and it ended up being about the Beaver Nuggets. And so I had to order them because I find the name Beaver Nuggets very gross. I find it gross. But we're going to go with this. It's kind of like a Cheeto / a corn pop.
It's like a cheese doodle.
A cheese doodle. And we're going to eat them right now. I don't think these are bad, but here we go. I like it. It tastes like a corn pop.
I was just saying it tastes like a waffle, really.
It does kind of taste like a waffle. You know what? I'm in. These are good.
Yeah, I'm not.
You want another one?
No, I don't want another one. But yeah, I mean, it tastes like a waffle, like a waffle with syrup on it.
It's pretty good. I gotta say, I'm not hating these at all. Actually, they're very good. I like this. The waffle is a perfect explanation. If you've ever had, I'm sorry, I'm talking on the microphone with food in my mouth. But if you've ever had a what is it? A Lay's potato chip that's waffle flavor. It's kind of like that. Sad Fryer says, "Are they cheesy?" No, they're not cheesy at all. Actually, they're sweet.
No, it's like a hard waffle with syrup on it. With dried encrusted syrup on it.
Now, I don't exactly know what the puff is. It could be just fake something.
Most likely. I mean,
it's like caramel a little bit too. All right, I gotta stop eating these because I will eat the whole bag. I love these things. I'm gonna leave them here though because I will eat this if I go home. It's just gonna be a bunch of Beaver Nuggets in my bed as I sleepwalk or something like that. All right, it's time for the Beaver Nuggets. So the story is somehow Buc-ee's got brought up. I think Frank brought it up.
Yes.
And it's a rest stop / mall / entertainment zone, super center. And someone said on the chat yesterday that they have like 100. They went to one with like 100 gas pumps, which is a lot, I guess. But while we were talking about this, Sam Levitt was in New York listening, and he goes, "Put me on, put me on, put me on." And so we put him on, and he's talking about how much he loves Buc-ee's. And so we got into the conversation, and it ended up being about the Beaver Nuggets. And so I had to order them because I find the name Beaver Nuggets very gross. I find it gross. But we're going to go with this. It's kind of like a Cheeto / a corn pop.
It's like a cheese doodle.
A cheese doodle. And we're going to eat them right now. I don't think these are bad, but here we go. I like it. It tastes like a corn pop.
I was going to say it tastes like a waffle, really.
It does kind of taste like a waffle. You know what? I'm in. These are good.
Yeah, I'm not.
You want another one?
No, I don't want another one. But yeah, I mean, it tastes like a waffle, like a waffle with syrup on it.
It's pretty good. I gotta say, I'm not hating these at all. Actually, they're very good. I like this. The waffle is a perfect explanation. If you've ever had, I'm sorry, I'm talking on the microphone with food in my mouth. But if you've ever had a what is it? A Lay's potato chip that's waffle flavor. It's kind of like that. Sad Fryer says, "Are they cheesy?" No, they're not cheesy at all. Actually, they're sweet.
No, it's like a hard waffle with syrup on it, with dried encrusted syrup on it.
Now I don't exactly know what the puff is. It could be just fake something.
Most likely. I mean,
it's like caramel a little bit too. All right, I gotta stop eating these because I will eat the whole bag. I love these things. I'm gonna leave them here though because I will eat this if I go home. It's just gonna be a bunch of beaver nuggets in my bed as I sleepwalk or something like that. All right, it's time for the beaver nuggets. So the story is somehow Buc-ee's got brought up. I think Frank brought it up.
Yes.
And it's a rest stop / mall / entertainment zone, super center. And someone said on the chat yesterday that they have like 100. They went to one with like 100 gas pumps, which is a lot, I guess. But while we were talking about this, Sam Levitt was in New York listening, and he goes, "Put me on, put me on, put me on." And so we put him on, and he's talking about how much he loves
you.
Matt Scrabby here with you. Bill Howe Studios, 97.3 The Fan. We're about to go back into going into the Big Five here. We'll do that shortly. I got a couple comments on the chat. If you want to watch the show, you can. Just go to YouTube, search 97.3 The Fan. You could also search Gwynn and Chris SD. You can go to Twitter at 97.3 The Fan SD, at Matt Scrabby. Also Facebook, 97.3 The Fan. Now, a couple comments from the chat before we get into the Big Five. Glenn Allen says, "Is this the negative Nelly show?" I understand why you would say that because I was talking negatively about the Padres, but outside of them winning, and I know that's crazy to say, outside of them winning, I can't believe that this team is ready for a deep playoff run. I'm just being real. I don't think it's the negative Nelly show. I think it's the realist show. And it's just been frustrating this year to watch the three guys that are supposed to be producing in this lineup not produce. Now, doesn't mean that they're not going to produce going forward. They could definitely produce going forward. There's still 100, was about 50 games in, so 112 games left in the season. There's plenty of games left for them to turn it around. And I really, really, really hope they do. I love cheering for Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., and Jackson Merrill. By the way, Jackson Merrill out of the lineup tonight after he hurt his back on Wednesday, trying to rob that Shohei Ohtani home run. He is not in the lineup, but Craig Stammen did say that, you know what, I'll just let Craig Stammen tell you because he was on with Ben and Woods this morning, but here is the update on Jackson Merrill.
Yeah, the good thing is all the tests came back negative, so no, rib fracture or anything like that going on. He's just still day to day, pretty sore, when it happened and checked on him yesterday. Still pretty sore. So we'll see. You know, it was as good a news as we could have got. You know, based on the medical report. So, you know, he should be back in there. You know, here this week at some point.
He said here this week at some point. So I don't think that there's going to be an IL stay. I don't know though, because they have, you know, things go wonky. Maybe he wakes up and his ribs hurt a lot more than they did the previous day. So I'm not going to really get too, you know, concerned about an IL stay at this point. But I think that Jackson Merrill I think he needs a little bit of a break, not just because he's not hitting well, but, you know, he needs a little bit of time to clear the head. And you could see the frustration on his face. You could see the frustration at the plate. You see the frustration whenever he, you know, is on base and the inning ends. There's a lot of frustration with this team, but yet again, they are winning. So I don't really know. I've been trying to find a way to describe the Padres this year for the last 2 weeks, and I can't really figure it out, because the question is, how do they win when none of their star players are producing? I don't know. It's a skill, and they're doing it on a regular basis. Now back to Manny's contract, and we will get to the big five here shortly. Also, traffic. Clay said, is Manny expected to live up to his contract, or has Manny already lived up to his contract and the remaining years of payments are being paid for that production? I see what you're saying, Clay. Ultimately, I mean, you don't pay off a contract. I can't go that far. That's really dramatic. I was going to say you don't pay off a contract unless you win a World Series. That is not true. I do think there's some of that, Clay. I do think there's some of Manny is getting payments for the production that he's already had with the Padres. Also, he is getting paid because he brought a lot of great players to San Diego as well. So I'm not, Manny, if Manny was not signed or re-signed by the Padres, got an extension or whatever you want to call it, by the Padres a couple years ago, and he wasn't here, would the team be better? Now, we can't necessarily 100% say yes or no, but I would say the team would not be better if they let him walk. And yeah, they would have that money to spend, but as we've seen and as we say all the time, this team goes where Manny goes, and this year it's kind of broken, that saying, because Manny's hit some home runs. I think he has 6 home runs, but he hasn't hit for average. The power's down, so it's just one of those things. We're going to have to keep waiting. We're going to have to keep waiting until he swings out of it. And Manny Machado, I think, obviously he's going to go down as a great Padre. He's setting all the records. So in the end, the contract is probably not going to be the thing that Manny's remembered by. It's going to be all the things that he does on the field that he's remembered by. So at some point, if he's going to get his numbers, he's going to go on a tear this year, and I cannot wait for that tear. All right, Matt Skraby, Gwynn and Chris, Tony is back. We're going to get you some traffic, and then the big five.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center. Injured, demand justice. 855GetRoss.com.
A hazard getting cleared from the eastbound 94 connector to the southbound 805. Got lingering delays, too, on the westbound 8 from a crash clearing at Mission Center. I'm John Yeazel, Odyssey San Diego Traffic.
Traffic report brought to you by Soapy Joe's. Glow Up Complete. Soapy Joe's on West San Marcos Boulevard in San Marcos is back up and running. Come by and get the best car wash in San Marcos. Join the Soapy Squad and become a member. Visit SoapyJoesCarWash.com. Give us a follow at Soapy Joe's. Good, clean, fun.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
And I am broadcasting live from the Bill Howe studios, where we know how, and Tony Gwynn Jr. down at Petco Park getting ready for the Padres and the Athletics tonight. I believe it's Star Wars weekend, so there's going to be some Chewbacca's out there. There's going to be some stormtroopers. I wish you and Jesse would, watch the movies, Tony, because I know that you guys have not watched the movies.
Not our thing.
He just says not our thing.
And I think it's too late to start.
Okay, the old ones for sure. But let's just get into it because I'm stalling at this point for no reason. We talked to Rodolfo Duran for Friar Friday earlier, and something I talked about in the Skraby show last night was the catcher position, and with Freddie Fermin struggling at the plate and Campy being out with a broken toe, when Campy does come back, Tony, could Duran stay at the big league level and Fermin go to AAA, or does Duran go to AAA?
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen. I'm sure that can be a thing, but I don't think that'll be what happens. I think it'll probably be Duran that goes down, and Fermin is, him and Campy will split time. Maybe a little bit more now favors Campy as long as he's swinging well. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I'm Padres have a lot of other issues besides what Freddie Fermin is doing at the plate.
Yeah,
and so I think that's just nitpicking at this point. If that is the focus of whoever at this point.
Yeah,
I don't think it's the Padres' focus.
Yeah, I said it last night. Like, the catcher position was never a position that was going to be, highly productive. It's just a position where they want them to be good at defensively, and if they can hit, then it's the icing on the cake. And Campusano was showing that he could do that. Freddie Fermin, I was looking through his career stats. He's like a 250 career hitter. So you got to think that at some point, just like everyone else on this team, it's going to flip at some point and become his career numbers. But he is definitely struggling at the plate. So, like you said, anything can happen, I guess.
Number 4.
Now, the Angels are 6-24 over their last 30 games, and Mike Trout has played in all of those games. And according to the Elias Sports Bureau, that's the worst record over a 30-game span in Major League history by a team that had a multi-time former MVP play in all 30. So if we're really going in and selecting this stat, this is one of them right here. Let me read that again. Worst record over a 30-game span in history by a team that had a multi-time former MVP play in all of those games. So there you go.
Yeah.
I'm up first. When is it time for Mike Trout to force a trade? Now. He needs to get out. I won't blame him for it either. He needs to go somewhere that he can have a chance to make some memories in the playoffs, because it's not going to happen with the Angels. He's getting older. I would not blame Mike Trout if he forced a trade from this team. I admire his stick with itness with the Angels, because he has stood by them and he has been a great quote unquote soldier for them. But it's time, Mike Trout. You need to go to another team. Tony, when is it time for Mike Trout to force a trade?
When he's ready for it to be time. And it doesn't seem like he's ready for it to be time at this point. And so we need to stop having these conversations about when it's time, because Mike Trout, if he really wants to leave, will let you know when he's ready to leave. He's a 10-5 guy at this point, meaning he's been with the same team for 5 years. He's had he's got 10 years of service time at this point. So when he's ready to go, it'll be pretty easy for them to move him on the way. What they get back, I don't know. I still think he still have a lot of value if he was hit the trade market.
Oh, I would think so. Do you think that are the Angels, in your mind, getting closer to being a playoff team? Are they going to be making the playoffs here in the next 2-3 years?
I think that remains to be seen. I think they have some talent now, right? I mean, Nato,
Shanuel.
Shanuel, what's the shortstop's name? Hit the walk-off the other day. It'll come to me. But they got some talent. Adele is there.
Yeah, Adele.
They've got some guys who can swing it a little bit. But I don't know that they're close.
Yeah.
I don't know that they're getting better. I guess they're getting better from the standpoint of they have some guys who can play right now. But I mean, does that mean that they are improving or getting better? It's hard to say. I initially thought watching them that they were in a much better spot. Yeah, Neto, I had it right.
Yeah, you did. I
Zach
was
Neto.
looking at it, and they have Logan O'Hoppe and Jorge Soler can hit some home runs.
Right. So I'm saying they got some guys that could play. They haven't put it together yet. So I guess the answer is yes and no. They've gotten better, but not really.
All right, Mr. Trout. Eyes are on you, buddy.
Number 3.
LeBron James joined Steve Nash on the podcast Behind the Game. Have you ever really listened to this podcast Behind the Game, Tony?
I have. Yes.
Okay. Well, LeBron James, as I just said, he was on with Steve Nash, and he asked him about his potential retirement decision. And here is what LeBron said.
Still in the moment of like just taking my time and saying I haven't even really thought about it too much. Obviously, I understand that I'm a free agent and I can control my own destiny. If being here with this franchise, for the foreseeable future, or if it's going somewhere else. But like I haven't even got to that point. I haven't even taken my family vacation yet, which is going to happen after Memorial Day. That's kind of the thing at the forefront of my mind. But I think at some point, up until, up in June, late June, as July rolled around, free agency starts to, gets going. And, as, July rolling, maybe into August, we start to kind of like get a feel of, what my future.
All right, you guys get the point. He's going to be deciding over the summer.
Taking his time. Yeah.
He's taking his time, which I think he definitely deserves to take his time. So, Tony, do you think LeBron James plays next year? Wow.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
I think he plays.
Okay. And the reason being you just feel it in your bones?
I think it would be, and it's not even, it has anything to do with LeBron. I think it would be crazy. Not crazy. I think it would be kind of sad if like all of the places didn't get a chance to salute him on the way out. Like,
he needs like a retirement tour.
Forget if that's actually what he wants, but I think he kind of deserves one, quite frankly. Like, he should get that on the way out. So, only for that reason, I would be, if LeBron decided to be like, I'm good. Who couldn't understand that at this point?
Yeah, I mean, he's playing.
But I do think it'll be with the Lakers if he does come back. I do believe that.
My biggest question is he willing to take like $1 million to play? Because
I don't know if he's going to be willing to take millions.
Yeah, maybe millions a little
to
bit.
have a chance to win.
It's either like he either gets paid like $40 million in max contract somewhere, or he can take a discount and play in LA. And I can't believe that he's been playing for the Lakers for 8 seasons now. That is crazy to me that it's been that long. And
yeah, man, I remember
the day they got LeBron.
I do too. I mean, it was kind of already like the story had already broke like a couple of days before he actually signed. But yeah,
every Laker fan rejoiced that day.
It was a good day.
It was a good day. All right, I'm hitting all the other mouses except for the one I need. Many people, we talked about the Rams extension yesterday of Matthew Stafford for $55 million up to 60. And many people are saying how it was a really, really, really dumb move. And it was because they took a quarterback in the first round of this draft instead of helping the team now. I'm up first. Does this make any sense to you? Yes. If you want a quarterback that is going to be ready to go, you're probably going to have to draft him a year or two in advance, and you're probably going to have him learn if that's the type of quarterback that you want. Now, if you want a rookie, then go ahead, draft someone that helps you now, and then throw him to the wolves whenever Matthew Stafford retires. I don't think this is dumb. I think this is just them setting themselves up for the future. And there's one thing I've come to know about the Rams, Tony. They have some smart people at the top of that organization, and they're not going to make decisions that are going to hurt them. So I think this is only in their best interest to have Matthew Stafford or draft a quarterback in the first round and have Matthew Stafford making all this money, because I don't think he sees the field, the quarterback they drafted. I can't remember his name right now. Tony, what do you think? Does this make sense to you?
He would not see the field. I mean, unless Matthew Stafford gets hurt, that's the only way he's going to see the field. It's 1 year. It's not like they committed long term to him. They're still in the championship window. So no, this is not a stupid move at all. You drafted your quarterback for the future. By the way, people act like that was the only pick they had in the draft. Like, they still drafted in the other spots that they needed. And so, Yeah, no, I think this is a smart move. And you're right. The Rams they got some people who know what they're doing over there.
I wish Sean McVay would stop talking about how he wanted to quit a few years ago. I don't know why that story is making another round. I guess someone asked him again.
I doubt that he is out there just like on his own speaking on it, unless there's like a new book or something.
No, he was on a podcast and they asked him about it, and he was.
Well, there you go. They asked him about it.
He said,
you know what? I don't want to talk about it anymore.
It was years ago. Like, all it does is I've come to respect Sean McVay, but all it does is tell me he's a whiny baby when he doesn't get his way and win.
Stop! You just mad because he be whooping up on him.
Not lying, Tony. You're not lying there.
Number 1.
All right, so some of the via FanDuel projected win totals for the NFL this year have been released, and the Ravens and Rams actually are at the top with 11.5 wins as their line. Now, if you go look at some of the other teams, you got KC over under 10.5, the Dolphins and the Cardinals over under 4.5. Let's see. 49ers are over under 10.5. They're the third team. So my question for you, Tony, is who are you picking to win the Super Bowl?
Dang, we doing that already? Winning the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't even know who's good right now. We don't even know if AJ Brown's still gonna be with the Eagles.
Okay, you're right. I am very premature. I know. You know what? That was not.
You just made that question up on the fly too, by the way.
You know me too well. All right, let me ask this: do you think the Baltimore Ravens and the Rams win at least 12 games?
Do I think the Rams and who?
Ravens. Do you think they win at least 12 games? Go 12-5.
Yes.
So you would bet over on this.
I take the over on that.
I think you're probably right. I think the Rams. Puka is a big question mark for me, actually. Like, I know he's going to play and everything, but I don't really know what's up with that guy right now. But I think the Ravens, after last year, they're gonna be angry and they're gonna want to win. And Lamar Jackson already looks like he's really, really taking this offseason and doing a lot with it.
Got a new coach. We'll see. Never know.
You never know. All right. That is it for the Big Five. When we get back, I'll get you set for Padres and athletics here from Petco Park. Also, Rodolfo Duran joined us earlier. We'll hear from him. That's next on 97.3 The Fan. 5 o'clock hour, we will be hearing from Rodolfo Duran here shortly in the 520 segment. But right now, I'm going to bring on my good friend, Sam Levitt. Sam, thank you so much for taking 5 minutes out of your day for us.
Oh, anything for you, Matt Scraby. You jump,
that.
I say how high. That's the way my life works. You and Adam Klug. You say jump, I say high. I say how high.
Yeah,
so
you
that's
know what?
my life.
You are a good teammate. Sam is a very good teammate. Let's just get right to it. Jackson Merrill, I know that he's not in the lineup tonight. He's not on the IL. What were your thoughts about what Craig Salmon said today?
Yeah, I mean, he's not in the lineup tonight. Sounds like obviously he's still sore. The good news is that the imaging didn't show, anything, which is obviously very good news. Doesn't sound like he's probably going to, be available tonight based on what Craig Salmon said in the tone earlier today. But it does sound like they've avoided anything serious with Jackson Merrill, which is good news. I think immediately when you saw the injury and him in pain, you're thinking something with his ribs or, something like that. But apparently all the imaging came back, well, and, looks like he'll avoid anything serious. But, obviously if he's in discomfort, that's not good either. So out of the lineup today, and I guess we'll see how it progresses over the course of the weekend.
Yeah, we're talking to Sam Levitt here on the SCCCU fan hotline, and let's talk about the lineup itself. Gavin Sheets. Actually, let me ask you this, because I asked the guys this the other day, Gwynn and Chris, and Gavin Sheets is on fire. He was coming into the week. He was the hottest hitter in baseball. Is he matchup proof right now to you? Because I know he doesn't face a lot of lefties, but is he matchup proof?
Yeah, I mean, to me, he is. I mean, look, I understood it the other day why Craig pinch hit Laureano, against a tough left-hander. I got it. I understood it, and look, Ramon almost made Craig, look like a genius. He almost hit a home run in that at bat the other day. But I will say this, with the way he swung the bat and his capability of just coming up so big in these big time moments and coming through in so many big scenarios, I do think he's earned the right to face lefties in those spots. And it'll be interesting to see how that progresses over the course of time as he continues to hit and be such a big contributor to this team. I understood Craig's reasoning the other day. I think it was a really, really tough decision and spot. I understood why he did it, but I'll be interested to see, as long as Gavin keeps doing what he's doing, if he continues, in your words, to be matchup proof. And he's, Skraby, if he's not already at that point, he's getting to it, not only because he's just been so good in general, but he's also just been excellent in those late game situations. So if he's not there, I would say he's pretty close.
What do you think? You spent a lot of time around the team, obviously. Miguel Andujar, he's kind of a quiet guy. You don't hear much from him, but what have you noticed about him during this hot stretch?
Yeah, I mean, I think as a hitter, he's just been remarkably impressive. I think he's somebody that when the Padres signed him, the hope was that he would at least be able to be a bat you could slot in against lefties and he'd be able to rip up left-handed pitching. And Skraby, he's just been so much more than that. It hasn't mattered right, left, and to his credit, to Gavin Sheets' credit, I think he's in that same category right now. I mean, they have essentially forced themselves into being everyday players for this team. I mean, you can't imagine the Padres lineup without Sheets and Andujar right now. So he's done it against righties, he's done it against lefties. He's just simply hitting everybody. And as far as his personality, I think he's a really cool customer. I think super relaxed, super confident, and I think a really good presence inside that clubhouse, and somebody that that clubhouse has enjoyed so far. So all good with Miguel Andujar. I think he's been so much more than you could possibly have imagined when the Padres signed him.
Talking to Padres pregame host and postgame host Sam Levitt here at 97.3 The Fan. He'll be on at 5:40 setting up today's game. They talked about this on the roundtable the other day, so I just really quickly, and then you can get going and get ready for your show. Ethan Salas, do they bring him up this year?
I mean, look, I understand the intrigue. Look, and the Padres have been so aggressive with these prospects, whether it be Fernando back in the day, whether it be Jackson Merrill, making the opening day roster in 2024. Nothing would surprise me based on A, the talent that Ethan has, and B, I think where they feel his defensive and receiving ability is at. That is always has been super advanced. And I think right now, from that standpoint, he's probably ready to come up and play in the major leagues and handle the pitching staff, handle the defensive side of being a catcher. Now, the offensive side, I think, is where it's fair to have a question only for two reasons. Number one, because he's still 19 years old. And number two, because this is a player that, only recently has really started to hammer the baseball in the minor leagues or I should say at the AA level.
Yeah.
And, when I look at Ethan, I look at it and look, I'm not in the front office. I think if I were in the front office, my opinion would probably be, why don't we let this 19 turning into 20-year-old in June, why don't we let him for at least a while go have consistent success at AA, play every day, stay healthy and build upon that. So, look, if you're going to make that move at some point, I think you have to be sure he can handle the major leagues, especially defensively, but also you better be sure that he can handle struggling in the major leagues, right? If he comes up here and he has a tough time hitting, which is fully possible at that age and with as little minor league experience as he has, but nothing would surprise me. I mean, they are uber aggressive typically with their top prospects. There's aspects of his game that I certainly feel like are major league ready right now. But from an offensive standpoint, it's asking a lot. It is. And I also think the other part, Skraby, that nobody seems to talk about with this is unless there's an injury, who exactly is off this roster, right? I mean, you're essentially saying Fermin or Campusano, or I'll even throw Duran in the mix.
Yeah.
He's not on this roster. So I do think that's an interesting part of it as well. But never say never with AJ Preller and the way he's moved these prospects. I would just plead caution.
Yes.
I'd put it that way, for a guy that is still 19. And I do think there would be benefit in him just having a great healthy year at AA and then maybe showing up to spring training next year and a la Jackson Merrill really competing for a spot at a camp next spring training. So we'll see, but never say never. He's a very rare prospect, a very talented prospect. And, AJ Preller is a unique GM in the way that he will push prospects even at a very young age and with limited minor league experience if the team really believes they're ready. So never say never.
Never say never is right. Thank you, Sam, for joining us to give us a quick check-in. Appreciate it. What's going on in your show today? Anything you want to tell the people about?
I got a big show. You want to talk about a jam-packed Ecowater SoCal Padres pregame show? Well, first, at about 5:42 p.m., I go one-on-one with Mason Miller as he gets ready to face his former team, potentially, if he comes out of the bullpen at some point in this series for the first time. So we've got a Mason Miller interview at 5:42. I'd say around 6:10 p.m., I go one-on-one with young A's star Nick Kurtz, who is quite the talent. So interview with Nick Kurtz. We'll hear from Craig Stammen, a jam-packed pregame show coming up on the Padres radio network. Don't miss it. 5:40 p.m. from Petco Park.
I won't miss it. I'll be driving home. I'm curious about this Nick Kurtz interview. That's good stuff, Sam. Thank you so much for joining us.
The Big Amish.
Is that what they call him?
That's his nickname, the Big Amish.
I did not know that. That's really he's a big dude too, right?
From Lancaster. He is a big dude. When you talk about somebody absolutely hovering over me, that was the experience in the A's clubhouse with Nick Kurtz.
He makes major leaguers look small.
Yes, he is a big dude. So yes, it was one of the, it was kind of like when I talked to me. Actually, I spoke to two guys who absolutely hover over me today in Mason Miller and Nick Kurtz.
Love it. Yes, they hover over everyone, Sam. So don't
they
feel
make me look even smaller than I already am.
Oh, don't say that. All right, Sam. Thank you so much for your time. We'll hear from you at 5:40.
All right, Scraby. See you.
All right, see ya. My good friend Sam Levitt helping me out, getting me through a segment. I appreciate that. And he joined us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big bank banking, it's better. There's a couple things that I wanted to bring up before break, but let's go with this real quick, and then we'll play Craig Stammen clip from Ben and Woods earlier today. Now, Steven Souza Jr. is the hitting coach. I know a lot of people are already over Steven Souza Jr. I think he needs a little bit more time, but Annie Halbrin of the San Diego Union Tribune caught up with him. You should go to the website, check out the article. It's a Q&A type of article, but she asked him, what's your take on the Padres offense through the first 8 weeks? He said, I think it's like any offense throughout the year. You have your ups and downs. I think for the first 3 weeks of the year, we were really good. And then there was a middle stretch in there where I think we kind of lost our identity. And obviously on this last road trip, we did a good job of finding it. My faith has not wavered in this offense by any means. These guys are super talented, and the back of their baseball card shows that. I think we're going to be just fine. I think we need a bingo game for back of the baseball card and some of the other words. I can't think of them right now. But this answer is an answer that I thought he would have given because, he's been in baseball. He played professional baseball for a very long time. Like, people who grew up in the game, people who have been playing baseball at the professional level for a long time, they just don't look at it like we do. And it's very apparent to me. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We just don't have the reference as all of these other guys do. But when we see a team that's, struggling to hit for a week, at least my thought is, man, when is they going to get out of this? Are they ever going to hit again? Are they ever going to hit a home run? Are they ever going to score a run again? But on their side, they're cool, calm, collected, and they're just waiting for it to turn around. I mean, I'm not the most patient person in the world, and so I don't know that I would be good with that mindset. But it is only, I think they're going into their 50th game tonight. Again, they have 112 games left after that. So there's plenty of time for them to turn it around. They've done a really good job of keeping themselves afloat in the National League West. And as much as I think, quote, I think we're going to be just fine, kind of annoys me. I know it's the correct answer. It's the correct answer. So we just got to keep hoping that something happens with this Padres lineup. And something happens with Fernando Tatis Jr. And something happens with Manny Machado. Something happens with Jackson Merrill. We need that. All right. When we get back, Rodolfo Duran is going to join us. He made his Friar Friday debut. Also, we are going to hear from Craig Stammen. And I want to know, as a former pitcher and now manager, what his role is with playing with, what is his role with Fernando right now? We'll talk about all of that and then close up the show on the other side. 97.3 The Fan.
Search for the Scraby Show.
What are we doing, guys?
I'm going to see the museum for the first time ever. It's going to be sweet. See my dad's plaque. See where Trevor's plaque is going to be. It's going to be pretty dope.
Chris, I'm going to go to the Hall of Fame for the second time because I went earlier today, but I'm going in to see Tony go into the Hall of Fame. So all the way straight and back left.
Straight back left.
Straight around that back wall.
This one?
Yeah.
How you feeling, Tony?
I don't know how I'm feeling right now, honestly.
Excited?
I'm definitely excited. Hello, Eric. How you doing? Pretty good.
Wow. Just like I told you, next to the famous Barney Dreyfuss and Leslie Wilkinson, whoever they are.
That does look like them.
I know. It's a good shot. They don't do them all that great. That one's good. Really good.
missed a year. 300. Must have been bad. Huh? I used to be. Not anymore, though.
Oh, it's so cool. What team did you play on?
I can give you a long list of them. Brewers, Padres, Dodgers, Phillies, Nationals.
What position did you play?
I played outfield. This was my dad. Oh, there's Dick Williams, Goose. I think he'd be pretty happy with his company over there. So.
What are you thinking to see it for the first time?
I'm thinking hot. I'm quite warm right now, but it's cool. I mean, it's what I thought it was going to be. I mean, not too many people can say they have a dad that's enshrined in this place. So I think this is awesome.
What are we doing, guys?
I'm going to see the museum for the first time ever. It's going to be sweet. See my dad's plaque. See where Trevor's plaque is going to be. It's going to be pretty dope.
Chris, I'm going to go to the Hall of Fame for the second time because I went earlier today, but I'm going in to see Tony go into the Hall of Fame. So all the way straight and back left.
Straight back left.
Straight on that back wall.
This one?
Yeah.
How you feeling, Tony?
I don't know how I'm feeling right now, honestly.
Excited?
I'm definitely excited. Hello, Eric. How you doing? Pretty good.
Wow. Just like I told you, next to the famous Barney Dreyfuss and Leslie Wilkinson, whoever they are.
That does look like them.
I know. It's a good shot. They don't do them all that great. That one's good. Really good.
I missed a year. 300. Must have been bad. Huh? I used to be. Not anymore, though.
Oh, it's so cool. What team did you play on?
I can give you a long list of them. Brewers, Padres, Dodgers, Phillies, Nationals.
What position did you play?
I played outfield. This was my dad. Oh, there's Dick Williams, Goose. I think he'd be pretty happy with his company over there. So.
What are you thinking to see it for the first time?
I'm thinking
hot. I'm quite warm right now, but it's cool. I mean, it's what I thought it was going to be. I mean, not too many people can say they have a dad that's enshrined in this place. So I think this is awesome.
What are we doing, guys?
I'm going to see the museum for the first time ever. It's going to be sweet. See my dad's plaque. See where Trevor's plaque is going to be. It's going to be pretty dope.
Chris,
I'm going to go to the Hall of Fame for the second time because I went earlier today, but I'm going in to see Tony go into the Hall of Fame. So all the way straight and back left.
Straight back left.
Straight on that back wall.
This one?
Yeah.
How you feeling, Tony?
I don't know how I'm feeling right now, honestly.
Excited?
I'm definitely excited. Hello, Eric. How you doing? Pretty good.
Wow. Just like I told you, next to the famous Barney Dreyfuss and Leslie Wilkinson, whoever they are.
That does look like them.
I know. It's a good shot. They don't do them all that great. That one's good. Really good.
missed a year. 300. Must have been bad. Huh?
Are you a baseball player?
I used to be. Not anymore, though.
Oh, it's so cool. What team did you play on?
I can give you a long list of them. Brewers, Padres, Dodgers, Phillies, Nationals.
What position did you play?
I played outfield. This was my dad. Oh, there's Dick Williams, Goose. I think he'd be pretty happy with his company over there. So,
what are you thinking of seeing it for the first time?
I'm thinking that.
Don't know what I'm looking at. This is very strange. I thought, like, if anybody sees this Purdue UCLA game, you tell me it doesn't look like it's some torrential downpour, but then it's actually not because it's sunny in the outfield. Anyway, I'm just going down a weird path right now. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to have Rodolfo Duran here making his Friday debut in just a second. But I have to tell everyone it's happy hour, and happy hour here on the show is brought to you by GL Pools, the company trusted by thousands of San Diegans to keep their pools sparkling, swim ready, and expertly maintained. Call GL Pools now and say radio for a free month of service. Let's before I give away the Padres tickets, I will do that in just a second, but I wanted to know what Craig Stammen, as a manager now, what his role is with the hitters and when they are struggling and things like that. So Ben and Woods asked him this morning, Craig Stammen, about this, and here's what he said.
Yeah, we kicked off the call talking about process. I'm making sure that our processes are in the right spot and that we're doing it the right thing and that we're intentional with how we're coaching Fernando. And I also, like, probably my biggest attribute is encouraging and supporting and making sure these guys feel, valued as human beings so that when they do struggle, it's not the end of the world. It's part of it. But we're going to work our tails off to figure out a way to stop struggling. And so that's where I'm at with Fernando, is I got his back and whatever he's doing and supporting our coaching staff and whatever they feel is best way to move him forward at the plate. But then I think the also part is, what I've got to do as the manager is also recognize where he does help us win a lot of baseball games. Yeah. And that may not always be at the plate, but it's all the other things that he does for our ball club. And that's playing multiple positions on defense and running the bases the way that he does and impacting the game in different ways, that make him such a great baseball player. And, so much of the focus is on him at the plate, but, he's piecing it together and he's still finding a way to impact the games and help us be a great team. And he's a big part of why, we're sitting there with 29 wins and on pace for, a pretty good season.
Craig Stammen, I like that guy. I do. He's honest. And he's winning right now. So I think that's also why I like that guy. All right, here is the trivia question for Padres tickets. If you get the trivia question right, you will win 2 tickets to Padres Phillies at Petco Park on May 26th. Celebrate America's upcoming 250th birthday with a Padres-themed patriotic Aloha shirt for the first 40,000 fans. Get tickets now at padres.com/tickets. So I'm going to ask this question. You're going to call in. First caller with the answer to this gets the tickets. 833-288-0973. The question is, what Padre hitter took Mason Miller deep last year, which provided a walk-off win for the Padres? What Padre hitter took Mason Miller deep last year and ended up walking it off for the Padres? Again, 833-288-0973. Right now, Rodolfo Duran, Padres catcher, joined us for Friday.
Well, Friday is here, and you know what that means. It's Friday. Tony Gwynn Jr., Matt Skraby, and Rodolfo Duran joins us, Padre catcher. And Rodolfo, welcome to the show. How are you, my friend?
Thank you, guys. I feel great. It's great to be here.
Rodolfo, I have to ask, man, 11 minor league seasons before, getting to the big leagues. What was the phone call like? I know you had been up earlier, but you didn't have a chance to actually get on the field. What was it like for you to finally be able to get up here? And then on top of that, have your first hit be a home run against the Mariners. Just talk about that experience a little bit.
Oh my! This was. I remember when I was a kid, I always dream for it, dream about this moment, and have my first homer. I said my first big league hit, and round the bases feels like I was in a dream, and I cannot describe how was it. It's another feeling.
Talking to Rodolfo Duran here on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big bank banking, it's better. And I have to bring it up. I mean, because you had your first major league hit be a home run. You also got something that many guys in Major League Baseball have had happen to them. Julio Rodriguez robbed a home run, your home run. So what was that like?
Feels different. Like that was gonna be my second homer. That was gonna be awesome, but man, he's a good outfielder. He regs over there. So I wasn't at the moment. I was like, oh my, what was that? But it happened. It happens.
It definitely happens at the big league level, especially with an outfielder like Julio Rodriguez. Rodolfo Duran joins us, and Rodolfo, you've been able to come in and kind of fill a void, right? I mean, Campusano goes down. You and Fermin have kind of been alternating a little bit. Just talk about having to adapt and kind of just jump right in. I mean, you didn't have really much of an opportunity to kind of ease into it, and you kind of hit the ground running. Just talk a little bit about that.
I think the biggest key is communicating how with the pitcher, how they want to work, what is their go-to, and after every inning have that conversation on how he want to work every hitter. I think that's one of the most one of the key for success.
Talking to Rodolfo Duran here on Friar Friday, 97.3 The Fan. And branching off that a little bit, I was reading about Michael King the other day saying that you were an awesome catcher for him and he loved throwing to you. So as a catcher coming into the middle of a season, kind of, how was it to quickly build that trust and get into sync with the pitching staff?
I remember I worked with him in spring training, and I have some feel on how he likes to work, and then have my debut with him in the mound. It was fun. Like I said before, the communication was everything. He always talking about how he started a batter and how he likes to finish it, and man, he got nasty stuff. So it makes my work easier.
Rodolfo Duran joins us here, Padre catcher on Friar Friday. And Rodolfo, you've had the unique experience to really have the ABS system from the very beginning, and it's evolved to where it is now. I mean, what are your thoughts on how it's being used at the big league level? It's clear that the guys who have had experience in the minor league are the ones that are typically, or they at least seem to be, a little bit more comfortable with it.
Yeah, you said it. Like I spent a couple of years in AAA since 23 that they put the ABS. So I just need to have a feeling. Sometimes if I'm expecting away and they miss inside, have a feel of how is the strike zone is, and trusting my eyes has been like the biggest key. I think been working these couple of years with it, I'll help me right now.
Real quick follow-up. For you, when you're back there, is the ball down or the ball up the hardest to kind of gauge where the zone is if you're going to challenge?
Yeah, those are the ones. Another thing that you need to know the hitter, like how tall is he, because the strike zone is
right.
Sometimes it's different when it's a short guy or if it's a tall guy, and have that on my mind, and on whatever pitch I call, be like, have a knowledge of how the strike zone is going to be.
Yeah.
Talking to Rodolfo Duran here, Padres catcher, Friar Friday. And I have to go back because I love stories like yours. Tony mentioned it, 11 years in the minor leagues. I got to know what kept you going. What motivated you to keep going, knowing that your dream was still out there? Because I think people don't understand how much you had to sacrifice to get to this point. So how did you do it?
I think there's two things that I think have been the key through my career. One is my family, and the second one that I love this game. When I was a kid, I have dreams about this. Like, I want to be here, and I know it's tough. It's 11 years. Like, you have up and downs. Sometimes you think that, I don't know if I'm done, but have that strong mental is key right now. Like, to go through all of those years and finally have the opportunity. I thank God for this.
Rodolfo, you talked a little bit about kind of getting to know your pitchers and being able to communicate it. Take us through what it's like when, whether it's Michael King or Walker Buehler, might go into a rough spell where they're having a hard time commanding the pitch or finding the zone, and you go out to have a conversation. What is the thing that you're trying to accomplish when you get out there and you're trying to talk to one of the pitchers struggling a little bit?
I just want to have a breather, try him to refocus and bring him the confidence back, and go to his train right away so we can get out of whatever it is, if it's a jam or if it's a whatever. I try to get the confidence back and trust on my guy every time, every pitch, and I think that's the best thing.
We're talking to Rodolfo Duran here on Friar Friday. Thank you so much for your time, Rodolfo. This is the last one from me, but Petco Park is known as one of the best parks, if not the best park in baseball. What has it been like for you?
Thank God I made my debut right here in Petco. This is amazing. This is another atmosphere.
Rodolfo Duran there on 97.3 The Fan for Friar Friday. Appreciate him coming on the show. That was a fun conversation. I really do appreciate guys like him a lot. The guys who work their entire lives to get to the major leagues, and they find a little bit of success. All right, so I did get a winner for our Padres tickets. I'm very happy to say that Ryan and his mom Leslie are going to the game on Tuesday. The question was, which Padre hitter hit a home run or a walk-off home run against Mason Miller last year to give the Padres a win? The answer, Jackson Merrill took Mason Miller deep. I remember this. It may have not been last year. It may have been the year before. Anyway, it was Jackson Merrill who took Mason Miller deep to walk off a game. So that's the answer. But Ryan plays Little League in Rancho Bernardo, huge Padres fan. He was the one who actually yelled it out to his mom, and his mom called in, and they ended up getting the tickets. So I think that is awesome. Appreciate you, Leslie and Ryan, for listening. Hope you have fun at the game. That is it for me. Thank you to everybody who joined us today. Coming up next, we got Padres baseball, 6:40 against the A's. But really, we're all here for one reason, and that is Sammy Levitt is going to be coming up for the Padres pregame show here shortly at 5:40. Remember, he talks to Mason Miller, and he's going to talk to Nick Kurtz. Make sure you stick around for that. Thank you. Have a great weekend, everyone. Back on Tuesday. Enjoy your weekend.